Hey, Paul. I'm sorry, but I'm really not up to cooking anything for dinner this evening. I know you've been busy at work all day, but would you mind picking yourself up something from the store on the way back?
Don't sweat it. I'll cook for us tonight.
Wow. Are you sure?
Yeah, it's no big deal. Besides, we've practically been living off nothing but takeout lately. We should really start thinking about stuff like vitamins and nutrients, now that you're eating for two.
I'm sorry, honey. I've been so tired lately you wouldn't believe. My body's so heavy these days that even getting from the sofa to the kitchen is an accomplishment, and I've been suffering with awful morning sickness on top of it.
I know it must be tough for you, babe, but before long, it'll all be worth it. Not long now, huh? In less than 2 months, we're gonna be parents. Hey, I tell you what, when we get done eating, I'll give you one of my famous foot massages.
Thanks. Your massages are the best. I can't wait. I know you must be crazy tired from all the hours you've been working lately. Sorry to trouble you.
It's nothing, really. What's this world coming to if you can't give the mother of your child a foot massage after work? Besides, your burden is a lot heavier than mine. As a guy, this kind of thing is about all I can do, so I'll be damned if I'm not going to do everything I can. You've been growing a brand new human in your belly for the last 7 months. Can't even begin to imagine what that must be like.
You're the best husband in the world. I feel so lucky to have you. You're the kindest, most understanding person I've ever met.
You really think so?
Of course I do. On top of the crazy hours you're putting in at the office to make sure me and our baby have everything we need, you help out with the housework, and you even cook sometimes. You go the extra mile for me, honey. I hope you know how much I appreciate it. Not all couples are like this, you know. My friend told me her and her husband were bickering and fighting practically every 5 minutes while she was pregnant with their son. Apparently, he never helped her with anything.
Well, my company doesn't ask us to do overtime unless there's some kind of emergency, so I have it pretty easy compared to a lot of people. If I was in a busier industry or worked at a company with a more questionable take on ethics, there's no guarantee I'd be able to help out as much as I do. In truth, I feel lucky.
Huh? But you help me out around the house even when you're busy.
I suppose I do what I can. My sister was always asking me for favors back when she was pregnant. I guess you could say I'm used to it.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I remember. You were always rushing out to drive her from A to B or pick up groceries. You were her lifeline back then, with her husband not always being around.
I've never thought of it that way, but I guess I might have been handy to have on standby. The timing on her husband's business trips were nothing short of a disaster. I know he couldn't help it, but it really made things difficult for her. My mom and dad were so tied up with work back in our hometown that they weren't much help either.
No kidding. Your parents are workhorses in every sense of the word. I've never known anyone to work so hard at their age. I can't help but wonder if that's why your mom hates me.
Whoa, where did that come from? My mom hates you? What makes you think that?
Yeah. She's always so cold and blunt with me.
Huh? Really? But didn't you say you thought she was really kind before?
She was, until I got pregnant. Ever since I quit my job so I could come home to be with you and get ready for the birth, I can't help but feel she's been off with me. Sure, it's not like we live together or anything, and I hardly ever see her, but I feel... I don't know. I guess you could call it hostility? From the tone of her message and phone calls.
Wow, I had no idea. I really don't think my mom's the type of person to hate someone just because they're not working, especially when you have a perfectly legitimate reason. You're heavily pregnant, for crying out loud. Besides, don't all soon-to-be moms stop working when they're as ready to burst as you are?
Sure they do, but don't you think she might be angry because I quit my job outright instead of going on maternity leave? I feel like she's being cold towards me because I left the company.
How so? Any examples?
Well, for starts, she used to send me tons of presents. Your mom's always going away on business, right? Well, she'd send me gifts and souvenirs from wherever it was she happened to be, but lately she hasn't sent anything.
Now that you mention it, I guess you're right. Surely that just means she hasn't been on any business trips lately?
That's not all. She was really cold towards me when I told her the baby's due date, and she hasn't been to see me once. And I guess, why would she? It's not like I'm her real daughter. It won't be her first grandchild either, so she probably doesn't care.
She was asking all kinds of questions about how you were. Last time we spoke on the phone, she actually seemed really interested in you.
Really?
Yeah, really. I think you're overthinking this.
I hope so.
I know you can't help how you feel though, sweetie. So don't sweat it. If that's the impression you got, then that's the impression you got. I honestly don't think there's anything to worry about though. I hope you'll always let me know whenever something's bothering you. I tell you what, I'll ask my mom a few roundabout questions. Hopefully that will help put your mind at rest. Asking her directly might upset her and make things awkward between you, so I'll have to be discreet. But leave it with me.
Thanks, Paul. I appreciate that. I'll just put it down to me overthinking for the time being. Anyway, see you soon. Drive safe. Paul, are you there? Are you still at work? What's going on? You're normally home 2 hours ago. Why haven't you messaged me?
Sorry, I'm on my way home now.
Were you at work? Where have you been?
Listen, Catherine.
What the hell is going on?
There were some problems at the office.
There were? Ugh, I've been going out of my mind with worry here, Paul. Why didn't you tell me? You're normally home way earlier than this. I felt like you'd vanished off the face of the earth when you didn't message me.
I'm really sorry, babe. That was wrong of me. I was rushing around like such a lunatic trying to get on top of the situation at work that I totally lost track of time.
Is everything okay? When you say you're coming home now, does that mean it's all been dealt with?
No, not quite. I've reached my limit for today, though. I'm on my way home regardless.
I see. It's not like you do overtime. I think this might be the first time since we started dating.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Anyway, enough of that. I'm sure you just want to forget about it all for today, right, sweetie? More importantly, supper! I know you're probably tired, so I understand if you just want to make something simple. Do you have anything in mind?
Actually, I think I'm just gonna pick something up on the way home today. Tired doesn't even begin to cover my mental state after the day I've had. It's late, too. It'll be time for bed by the time I finish preparing and cooking everything, even if it is something simple.
Oh my god, seriously? But I was so looking forward to eating one of your home-cooked meals.
Please, can you just cut me some slack today?
Fine. I'll settle for a ready meal then. But I want a cup of soup too. Make sure you get the freeze-dried type.
All right. Got it.
Oh yeah, guess what? I sent your mom a picture of the ultrasound today, but you'll never believe it. She left me on red. I got totally blanked. Don't you think that's horrible?
I see.
I see? Is that all you've got to say? A little more understanding would be nice. You know before how I said I was gonna chalk what I thought about your mom being cold towards me down to overthinking? Well, I take it back. Who leaves a picture of their daughter-in-law's baby scan on red? That confirms it. I was right. She hates me.
All right. Leave it with me. I'll prod around with a few indirectly worded questions. But let's not jump to conclusions before we know for sure, okay? You know how busy she is. Maybe she just forgot to reply.
I really don't think she did. She was never like this before. I hope you're gonna have my back if it turns out she does hate me. Can I count on you, Paul? Are you gonna be there when I need you?
Well...
Because the thing is, I have no interest in having any kind of relationship with someone who hates me. How about you pick a damn side and stop fence-sitting for once?
I'm not sitting on the fence, Catherine. I just don't want to go doing anything brash without knowing the full story. But rest assured, I won't force you to carry on seeing her if it turns out what you're saying is true.
Good. Anyway, I'm hungry. Hurry up and get home with my supper.
By the way, I saw David, your old coworker, earlier.
Where?
On the way to a meeting with a client.
Really? I haven't spoken to him since I left the company. How was he? Is he doing well?
I only saw him from a distance. It reminded me of what good friends we all used to be. Remember how we used to go out with him and his wife on days out or to restaurants together? Stuff like that. We don't see each other at all these days.
It's true, we don't, but remember, they have a son to think about now. It's hard to find time for things like that when you have kids.
Sure, I get that. But it'd be nice to see them again, for old time's sake. How about we all get together again after the baby's born? You were saying you wanted some other mom friends just the other day, right? I think David's wife, Christine, would be perfect. I mean, you're already friends, right? It'd just be a case of picking up where you left off.
Listen, baby, the truth is, me and Christine aren't friends. I actually found her really difficult to get along with.
Huh? Really?
Yeah. Surely you know her personality's a little gloomy, right? It's like walking on eggshells being around someone like that.
I honestly never noticed.
'Cause you're a dullard. It's fine. I'm sure I'll find some new mom friends if I keep looking. I'm not so desperate for company that I tolerate people I don't like.
Yeah, fair point. Anyway, I'll be home after I pick up something to eat from the store.
Paul, are you serious? I'm so mad at you. What are you playing at? Ugh! You are gonna come see me at the hospital today, aren't you? Your son wants to meet you.
I'm sorry. I can't.
What did you just say? Are you being serious right now?
Yes.
You mean you can't make it because of work today? Again?
Yep.
Ugh, this cannot be happening. You've only been to see us at the hospital once since I gave birth. What do you think you're playing at? I don't want to hear any crap about overtime either, because I know your company doesn't make you do any. Who does this as soon as their kid is born? You do know me and your son are coming home tomorrow, don't you?
I don't have a son. I want a divorce. Whether you come home or not makes no difference to me.
Oh my God, Paul, what are you talking about? Where's all this coming from? Stop joking around. I'm not laughing. Just stop it.
I'm not joking. I'm as serious as it gets.
Why are you being like this? Do you have any idea what a toll being pregnant all the time took on me? The birth wasn't exactly a walk in the park either.
Yep.
Yup? What the freaking hell is yup? I don't want to hear yep. You goddamn jerkwad. Don't you care about your son?
I believe that all children are precious. But I find it difficult to care about your son for personal reasons.
My son? He's your son too, Paul. Oh, you make me sick. I never thought you were like this. I would have never gotten pregnant if I knew you were gonna divorce me. Take responsibility.
Nope.
Do not screw around, you lowlife prick. He doesn't even have a name yet. What am I supposed to put on the birth certificate?
You should probably hold off on that. And whatever you do not write my name on it.
I was wrong about you. If I knew you were gonna toss me aside like a piece of garbage the moment things got tough, I would have never let you get me pregnant. I would have never married you. I'm phoning your parents. Mark my words, you will take responsibility for what you've done. Paul, I got discharged from the hospital today. I just got home. What's going on? Where are our things? The house is almost empty.
Yep. I took all my stuff. Your things are in cardboard boxes in the bedroom. You can deal with sending them off to wherever you go from here by yourself. I'm selling the house.
Wow. I can't believe it. So you were serious about the divorce?
Yep. I left the divorce papers on the shelf by the front door. I need you to sign them and post them in the envelope I left.
You mean you can't even bring yourself to see my face? Is that why you left before I got home?
Bingo. If we need to discuss anything, We can do it through our lawyers.
What about our son? How am I supposed to raise him in a house with nothing in it?
It's not my problem what you do with the kid. But like I said, I'm selling the house, so you definitely won't be raising him there. How about you take him to David's place?
Huh?
Your old coworker, David. You know, his real dad.
What are you talking about? He's your son.
Can you prove it?
Prove it? Why do you need proof? Surely you know he's yours. I'm your wife, for Pete's sake.
But that kid's the product of an affair. Of course, it's not his fault his parents are cheating lowlives. But I have neither any right nor obligation to raise him.
Oh my God. How can you say these things? You're horrible.
The only one who's horrible here is you. You lied about him being mine while knowing damn well he wasn't. You filled me with false hope, an attempt to get me to raise someone else's kid.
What makes you think he's David's? Because we got along before the pregnancy? Oh, please. Just because I have male friends doesn't mean I'm seeing them behind your back.
My mom said she saw you together after we found out you were pregnant.
Huh?
It was just after you left the company to come back to live at home with me. You were away for 3 days straight, remember? Because you didn't come home straight away. You stopped off in Philly on the way, didn't you?
Philly? What? No way! I've never been there. Are you sure this isn't a case of mistaken identity?
Granted, she saw you from pretty far away, but she took plenty of pictures. She was over there on a business trip at the time. When she realized what she was seeing, her and her coworker followed you into a cafe to see if they couldn't eavesdrop on your conversation.
No way!
Yes way. She had her coworker who you don't know sit on the next table across. She overheard everything. How did it go again? Oh yeah, David, this baby. There's a good chance it's not Paul's. I think you're the father.
What? No! She must have misheard us.
Even still, why would you be in Philly with David in the first place?
Well, we just bumped into each other by chance.
In Philly? Since when do you go there? I could at least respect you a little if you were just honest about what you did. This is why my mom's been off with you ever since. Because she knew you were cheating on me, and that the baby might not be mine. Obviously, she couldn't know for sure without digging deeper. You said it yourself. There was still a chance it might be mine. But at the same time, she knew how hurt I'd be if she told me what she saw. She said she was chronically worried and losing sleep because she didn't know whether to tell me.
But that's why you decided to divorce me, right? Because of what your mom told you? In the end, she did hurt you, and she did it all for nothing because this little boy is yours, I swear!
The only one who hurt me is you. Even if there was still a chance he was mine, that doesn't take away the fact that you cheated on me.
But I didn't! Where's the proof? Surely you're not making accusations like this based purely on something your mom told you she thinks she saw? Are you really gonna point the finger of doubt on your own wife based on hearsay? Without a shred of evidence? That's horrible!
If it's proof you want, I have it. Have you heard the term DNA test before? Remember that time I came to visit you at the hospital after the birth? Well, I was actually there for a DNA test.
Wait, what?
The results came in yesterday. It's just like I thought. He's not mine.
No way! Oh, this can't be happening. This is all a sick joke, right?
I wish it was, Catherine. I wish it was. This proves, beyond any shadow of a doubt, you cheated on me. I can't believe I had to find out like this.
I'm so sorry.
Does that mean you admit it?
No, please hear me out. Look, this is how it happened. Dave invited me over to his house. He said his wife couldn't drink because she was pregnant, but he really wanted to have a drink with someone, so he offered me some wine. It was really strong. I don't know if maybe he put something in it because I don't remember anything after that.
Let me get this straight. You're saying you think he spiked your drink and raped you?
Yes.
That's strange, because I'm with David right now. And he says you're lying.
What?
I drove over to see him because I wanted to hear it straight from the horse's mouth. He admitted it the moment I showed him the DNA results.
No, he's lying! You can't trust a word he says. He's a pathological liar.
He showed me your message history. It wasn't just a one-off, was it? There were no mentions of any drinks being spiked or anyone passing out and not remembering anything. In fact, it seems to me like you were always really excited to go and see him.
Paul, please. My head was all over the place back then after what he did to me. I wasn't thinking straight. You're the only one I love, and that's the truth. Please believe me, I never wanted to divorce you.
Of course you didn't. What would it accomplish? He was a married man, after all. But whether you wanted a divorce or not, you still cheated on me. And without a condom, no less, you dirty girl.
I'm so sorry, baby.
Don't baby me, you lying whore. You tried to trick me into raising another man's kid. You're the most despicable person I've ever had the displeasure of knowing.
Whether this baby boy turned out to be yours or not, I've always thought of you as his. I've been filled with nothing but regret this whole time. I swore never to betray you again when I found out I was pregnant. I was committed to raising him together as our son. Do you have any idea how hard this pregnancy was on me?
Not my problem. You only have yourself to blame.
I believed with all my heart that you'd be man enough to step up to the plate and raise this baby boy, even if you weren't blood related.
Man enough to raise someone else's kid? Now I've heard it all! Look, I'll admit that if I'd spent long enough raising him without knowing the truth, I probably would have gotten attached and found it difficult to let go.
Right? So why do things have to be different now? You can still raise and love him as your own.
But I do know the truth now, don't I? I know exactly what you did.
This is all your mom's fault. If your mom didn't go sticking her nose where it didn't belong, this poor boy would have grown up with both parents in his life, surrounded by love and warmth.
Have you heard yourself? What are you even saying? Don't blame the mess you made on my mom. She was only trying to look out for me. You and David are the only ones at fault here.
Paul, please, I'm so sorry. Please give me another chance. I swear I'll never betray you again. I'll dedicate every fiber of my being to making you and this baby boy happy for as long as I live.
Nah. Me and you are done. And I sure as hell ain't raising some other dude's kid.
Please don't divorce me, baby. I can't bear to lose you. You're all I have.
You really meant that. You would have never cheated on me in the first place. No matter how desperately you beg and plead, there isn't anything you could possibly say at this point that would change things.
Oh my God. I can't raise a baby boy on my own. What am I supposed to do without you?
I just got off the phone with your mom. Her and your dad are going to come and pick you up from the house soon. So presumably you'll be staying with them for a while. You and David can take care of the rest between yourselves and his family.
But I want to raise this boy with you.
Believe me, I wanted to as well. I wanted it more than anything. Till I found out, that is. I felt like my heart stopped when I got that phone call from my mom a month ago. My world was flipped and turned upside down in an instant. I wanted to believe in you. That's why I went for a DNA test. I was willing to pretend I didn't know about the affair for the sake of the kid if it turned out to be mine. But he isn't.
I'm so sorry.
Not only is he not my kid, but now I know that my own wife is a treacherous lowlife who cheated on me. You can't chalk this down to getting drunk and being taken advantage of or making a mistake, because you went back to him time and time again. How do you think I felt when I found out? You have no idea, do you? Do you even care? I find it hard to believe you'd be capable of something so cruel and heartless if you did.
I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. I'm begging you. I'll do anything.
There's nothing I want from you. Forget about me, and focus on making your son happy from now on. There's nothing I can do for him, because I'm not his dad. It's time for you to take responsibility for what you did. After that, with the assistance of my lawyer, I divorced Catherine without a hitch. Naturally, her lover, David's name was the one that ended up on the father field in the birth certificate. Catherine, suddenly having nowhere to live, went to stay with her parents, who, in spite of being disgusted by their daughter's actions, couldn't bring themselves to abandon her and their grandson. Apparently, they were beside themselves with anger and disappointment towards Catherine, but they understood that the baby was an innocent victim in all of this, and wanted to make sure he wasn't punished for the sins of the mother. Babies, especially newborns, need to be raised in a warm, loving environment with people who can be relied on to provide constant care and attention they need. As such, my ex-in-laws vowed to do everything they could to provide for him, which, in spite of me having no relation to the kid, put my mind strangely at ease. As for David, my ex-wife's lover, his wife Christine divorced him immediately when she found out about his extracurricular activities. Apparently her parents are pretty well off, which meant neither them nor Christine were financially dependent on David, and as such, they could afford to remove him from their lives completely, which they promptly did. Who was a top executive at the company. Needless to say, he didn't take too kindly to the betrayal of his daughter, and David quickly found himself unemployed. I hear he moved out to the countryside to escape the shame of his actions, and is now working like a dog to keep up with the child support payments for his and my ex-wife's kids. My ex-wife messaged me, begging me to take her back countless times after the divorce, but I ignored her every time. There's nothing I can do for her now. I only hope that she thoroughly honors her responsibilities as a mother and does her absolute best to raise her son in spite of the circumstances. I dove headfirst into my work after everything that happened. So much so that my coworkers joked that I should set up a tent in the office. I hoped it might help me forget the trauma of being betrayed by a woman that I loved the most in the world. And you know what? It did. Between that and the kind understanding and unwavering support of my family, friends, and coworkers, I'm actually starting to feel a lot better. I don't have so many flashbacks or nightmares about what happened anymore either. I'm having a blast, devoting myself to my hobbies for the first time in years, something I never had the time to do when I was married. Finding out my wife was pregnant with someone else's kid was quite a shock, but now I'm putting it all behind me and focusing on building a happy, fulfilling new life for myself. How can you enjoy the present if you spend all your time dwelling on the past? Onwards and upwards, I say. Life is full of ups and downs. I've had my fair share of downs, but I firmly believe that my happiest years still lie ahead of me, and I'm going to do everything I can to make them a reality.
Chloe, did the package I arranged to be delivered to your place come yet?
Yep, it just got here. Thanks for all this fresh seafood. It looks delish.
Let me make one thing clear, young lady. None of that stuff is for you. It's for my amazing son, because he's family.
I know that.
Make sure you rustle up something tasty with it for him. Don't go using any cheap ingredients either. Everything I send is of the highest quality. I only sent enough for one person, which means you won't be getting any.
Okay. He can have it all to himself. Don't worry.
I'm glad you understand. I hope you don't think I'm being too hard on you, dear. It's just that we never know when you'll disappear, what with you being a stranger and all.
Bernadine, the vows I took on our wedding day are for life. I don't exactly plan on going anywhere.
Still, you've only been married 3 years. It's early days, and who knows what tomorrow might bring.
I guess. But things are going great between me and Jeremy.
My cousin Selena announced she was pregnant at my dad's wake the other day. Her and her husband Steve had only been married a year. Why can they do it but you and Jeremy can't? Is it so hard to get pregnant? You do know how, don't you?
Jesus, Bernadine. What do you take us for? Of course we know how. Look, every couple's different. And some people like to wait a little longer before making such a huge decision. It's not that we don't want to. We just want to enjoy our personal time for now.
Do you really think that you have the luxury at your ripe old age? You'll hit the menopause before you know it with complacency like that. How are you going to grow any crops in a barren wasteland?
I prefer if you didn't say things like that.
Why on earth not? It's only because I'm worried about you.
I see. Listen, Bernadine. Sorry to change the subject, but I wanted to talk to you about the wake. I'd really appreciate it if you could let me know earlier next time there's something big like that going on.
Huh? Why?
It really took me off guard when Jeremy messaged me while I was at work, asking if I could book it off on short notice. I need more time to prepare for things like that.
What's the problem? Jeremy made it in the end, didn't he? You're the one who didn't show up. What were you thinking, agreeing to work on a day like that?
But I did book the day of the funeral off.
Did I say the wake would be on the same day as the funeral? No. You shouldn't jump to conclusions.
It kind of feels like you hid it from us. It's not that strange to assume that the wake would be on the day of the funeral. I had no idea it'd be the day before. And neither did Jeremy. How are we supposed to know what's going on if you don't tell us? I'm just asking you to communicate a little more is all.
Oopsie! I just forgot to tell you all, dear. Why so mistrustful? You act like I did it on purpose. Paranoia is unhealthy, you know? Anyway, what does it matter if you weren't at the wake? You're just some stranger who happened to marry my son. It's not like we're blood related. What do I care if you pay your respects to my dad?
Sure, we might not be blood related, but still.
Then that's the end of it. I won't hear another word of your grumbling, young lady. It makes no difference to us whether you're around or not. I suggest you take a long, hard think about your position in this family. Know your place, girl. Don't think you have the right to take part in family gatherings anymore either. You had the privilege, but you lost it when you threw it back in our faces by not showing up. Hello, Chloe. Can you tell my son to make sure he's available on the 1st of next month?
Got it. Will do. Is that for Craig's piano performance?
Huh? You knew?
Yeah. Chrissy told me. You know how proud she is of him. She said everyone was going for a meal afterwards and asked if I wanted to tag along.
What the devil? She invited you?
Yes?
Goodness gracious me. I hope you don't actually think you're going.
Huh? What do you mean?
I mean, we want to spend time together as a family. No outsiders. A stranger like you tagging along would only ruin the atmosphere and make everyone feel uncomfortable.
Do the right thing and decline the invitation. That's kind of difficult now. I already told her I'd go.
Then tell her you got a cold or feel under the weather or something. Just use your damn brain for once. You can tell her you stubbed your toe for all I care. The bottom line is you're not going.
Sorry. Chrissy invited me, and I said I'll go. So I'm going. If you're the one who organized it, of course I respect your wishes. But you're not, so yeah.
I see how it is. You want to ruin our precious family time, don't you?
I really don't. Besides, if I'm not family, then surely Chrissy isn't either. She's your daughter-in-law, just like me. If I'm a stranger as Jeremy's wife, then surely she is as his brother's.
Unlike you, she's a good wife who fulfills her womanly responsibilities to this family. Unlike you, she gave me a grandchild. Don't get me wrong, she doesn't have my full approval just yet. But she's on the right track. She contributed more to this family in 1 year than you did in 3.
So I'll never win your approval until I have kids? Am I totally worthless in your eyes then?
Exactly. If you want us to treat you like family, then you need to do your job as my son's wife and prove your commitment to us. Aha! There might be another way. If you're so serious about proving yourself to me, you'll let me move in with you and Jeremy.
What? You want to move in with us?
I hate to admit it, but I'm no spring chicken anymore, and I'm not as quick on my feet as I used to be. If you want me to acknowledge you as a member of this family, letting me move in with you is the quickest way. You should be grateful I'm offering you a shortcut. Don't dawdle, though. There's always Craig, so be careful. If you snooze, you might just lose. In fact, I've already discussed it with him and Chrissy. I doubt it'll be long before they say yes. Let's face it, who wouldn't want me living with them? I'm a ray of sunshine.
I'm pretty sure I told you this before, but me and Jeremy have no plans to have either of our parents move in with us. Obviously, we'll always be there to support you when you need us.
I see. So you're refusing your own mother-in-law?
Sorry.
It's fine. I'm glad I know where we stand now. Looks like you are a stranger after all. Don't worry about it. I know exactly how committed you are to this family now. To think you treat my kind, once-in-a-lifetime offer with such disdain.
It's really not like that, but we have to draw the line at shared living. If there's anything else I can do for you, let me know and I'll do my best.
Ooh, don't mind if I do. In that case, I have a job for you. I want you to clear up my garden shed. Surely you can at least do something as simple as that.
Of course, no problem.
Fantastic. I want you to come to my house next Sunday around noon is fine. Even if you did start first thing, you never get it all done in a day. There's years worth of stuff in there. I'm happy for you to start out with a few hours to begin with.
Sunday afternoon? Got it. See you next weekend.
Great. See you then. Oh, and I hope you're not thinking of asking Jeremy to help you. We won't be having any of that. This one's on you. Make sure you come alone. The future of your relationship with this family depends on whether or not you impress me with your shed cleaning skills, young lady. I hope you take this seriously. Chloe, come to my house this instant.
Bernadine? I thought you said I was starting on the shed around noon. I'm waiting for a package from my mom this morning, so I have to be in till it gets here. But I can come over as soon as it does.
Not good enough. Forget the package and get over here.
I think it's gonna be here soon. The live map says the delivery guy's in the neighborhood already. I'm really sorry, but can you hold on just a little while longer?
Not good enough. This is an emergency, young lady. Do as you're told and get your ass over here at once. I think I've broken something. I can't stand up.
What? Where are you?
In the yard. I fell over, now I can't stand up. I tried calling Jeremy, but he won't pick up. What the hell is he doing that's more important than his injured mother?
He went to the movies with his friends this morning. I'm guessing his phone turned off.
Then there's nothing else for it. You have to come right now. Don't you care what happens to me? My leg hurts. I can't get up and I need help.
If you can't stand up, I think you should call an ambulance. Even if I leave this instant, it'll still take me about 30 minutes. An ambulance could be there in less than 10. How about I call one for you? I can give them your address and you'll be on your way to the hospital before you know it.
No! I'm covered in mud because my foot slipped into a hole. Do you really think I can ride an ambulance looking like this? I'd never live down the embarrassment. The neighbors would have a field day. They'd all be stood out on their lawns, pointing and laughing at me like the vultures they are.
What?
I'm covered in so much mud, it's even seeping through my pants. I need to get changed. Why do you think I'm messaging you? Do you think I don't know ambulances exist? If I wanted one, I'd call one.
Wait a sec. Are you really at your house? I don't remember there being any holes big enough to fall into your yard. Plus, mud? There hasn't been a drop of rain in the last month.
Enough of these silly questions. Just shut up and come already. If you don't come soon, me and you are finished forever. You'll never win my approval, and you'll never be a member of this family. Is that what you want? Ow! My leg hurts. Your mother-in-law's in trouble here, damn it. Hurry up and come help me, you worthless piece of crap of a wife.
Fine. I'm on my way.
Thank the Lord. Why was it so difficult to just do as I said from the get-go? I've never met anyone so useless in my life. Is it such a surprise that you still don't have my approval? If not for your incessant complaining, you'd already be halfway here. Chloe, I have a small favor to ask you. Please, would you bring me my pajamas and a few other things? I feel so uncomfortable in this hospital gown.
Excuse me?
I feel like such a nuisance asking you to go out of your way like this for me. But not a single person came to visit me since I got admitted to the hospital. Isn't that awful? Neither of my sons are replying to my messages. You're the only person I've left to rely on, Chloe. So please, I'm begging you, won't you be a darling and look after me for a while? I know things haven't always been great between us, but this could finally be our chance to bond and get to know each other.
Huh? Who are you?
What do you mean, who? It's me, Bernadine, your husband's mother.
Forgive me, but that doesn't ring any bells. I don't know any Bernadines. And my husband doesn't have a mother.
What? What on earth are you talking about? It was just a few days ago you heroically rushed out to me and called an ambulance after I fell into that hole in the yard and hurt my leg. Don't even joke about such things. I'm lying seriously injured in a hospital bed here. I'm vulnerable as it is without being abandoned by my entire family. I'm not sure I can take being treated like this for much longer. Please don't say things like that, dear.
You deserve everything that happens to you.
Huh?
You made a freaking pitfall trap in your backyard with the aim of luring me into it. The only reason you're in the hospital is because you're such a moron you fell into your own hole. You wouldn't have hurt yourself if you didn't try to pull such an insane stunt. You wouldn't be lying in the hospital with a broken leg if you didn't dig the hole in the first place.
Well, yes, what you say may be true.
But you know what? I'm glad you did fall in. Because if you didn't, it would have been me lying in that bed. Can you give me a single good reason why I go out of my way to help someone who tried to do something like that to me?
Don't be so dramatic, dear. It was just a harmless little prank.
A harmless little prank that broke your leg clean in two and put you in the hospital? A harmless little prank with a 4-month recovery period? I shudder at the thought of what might have happened if it went like you planned. You terrify me.
Don't be silly, dear. You're young, healthy, and as fit as a fiddle. The only reason I got hurt is because I'm old and frail. I'm just not as sturdy as I used to be, that's all.
You can't say that for sure. How did you plan on taking responsibility if I got seriously hurt?
I'm sorry. I never thought this would happen. Not in a million years.
Not to you, maybe.
But Chloe, hear me out. I've had a long, hard think about my behavior, and I've made a decision. I'll never do anything horrible to you again, I promise. I learned a valuable lesson through all this. So please, won't you at least look after me while I'm here in the hospital? I might just about be able to get by on my own once I get discharged. But I'm helpless here because everyone's ignoring me.
Nope. Me and Jeremy are done with you.
Huh?
Which part don't you get? D-O-N-E! As in cutting you out of our lives forever. For eternity. for perpetuity. For the rest of time. Until heat death of the universe. Get it yet?
Oh my god, the cruelty! Why would you do such a thing? Sure, maybe I did try and lure you into a pitfall trap. But did it work? No, it was me who got hurt in the end, wasn't it? What's the harm done?
Let me get this straight. You're saying I should forgive you because you were too much of a moron to trick me?
I'm not saying you should forgive me per se. But still, isn't cutting off all ties with me a little horrible? I can't help but feel this is disproportionate.
We planned on cutting you out of our lives before long, even if you didn't make the pitfall trap. All you did was hasten our decision.
What? Why?
You're unreal, Bernadine. Are you seriously saying you forgot about how you've been treating me all this time?
Well, if you're talking what I think you're talking about, I admit it. I may have been strict sometimes. But isn't that a mother-in-law's job? Besides, it's precisely because I wanted to acknowledge you as a member of this family so badly that I chose to use such severe discipline methods. How else were you supposed to fully understand your role and duties as my son's wife?
You never invited me to family events, and on the rare occasion I was allowed to come over to your house, you served everyone food, except me. Then when I said I didn't have any food, you told me to go pour myself a glass of water. You told me not to show up to family restaurant outings. Which part of that counts as making me understand my roles and duty as Jeremy's wife? You were harassing me, plain and simple, and you're nothing but a vicious bully. Are you telling me that if I carried on tolerating your crap, you'd have one day accepted me into the family? And we would have all lived happily ever after?
Oh, come on, Chloe. Can't we just drop this already? I said I'm sorry and promised never to do it again. Surely we can move on. I'm genuinely remorseful for what I did, dear. You have to believe me. I feel guilty about how cruelly I treated you when you were always so kind and respectful towards me.
The time for apologies passed a long time ago. It's too little too late. This changes nothing about mine and Jeremy's decision.
What do you mean when you say you're done with me? That I'll never see you again?
Exactly. We might still cross paths at weddings and funerals, but even then, we definitely won't speak to you or acknowledge you exist.
I take it that means Jeremy doesn't want his inheritance either. You should know that if you go through with this, I'll write him out of my will in a heartbeat. That goes for everything his dad left behind, too. I'll give everything to Craig instead.
That's totally fine with us. But there is one more thing you should know. I'm guessing they haven't told you, so allow me. Craig and Chrissy want you out of their lives too.
What?
You might have forgotten, but you were just as horrible to Chrissy as you were to me when the two of them first tied the knot. She probably never told you, but she absolutely hates your guts. Which naturally means Craig isn't your biggest fan either.
What? But I'm nice to her now. Besides, I don't remember doing anything that bad.
She told us the only reason she was polite to you, in spite of the fact that she despised you, was to keep the peace. Superficial politeness does not equal forgiveness.
Oh my god, that ungrateful witch. I always went out of my way to invite her to family gatherings. And I spoiled my grandson rotten. This is how she repays me.
Those things don't cancel out the bullying and harassment. There's some things you don't forget. Just because you found a new target when I showed up, doesn't mean the pain you caused her disappeared.
No way. Is that why no one's visiting me in the hospital?
Exactly. That's why you need to stop pestering us and deal with your own problems from now on. We're done with you. And that means all of us.
Chloe, please. I'm so sorry. You have to understand none of it was personal. I was just afraid of losing my precious son. I felt like something had been stolen from me, and in my mind that was all your fault. I know it was wrong, but I wanted to see you suffer like I was, even if just a little.
Just a little? That's the understatement of the year. How many times did Jeremy warn you? How many times did he tell you to stop treating me like dirt? Not just him, but Craig too. He told you he wasn't going to carry on tolerating what you were doing to Chrissy. But it all went in one ear and out the other. Rather than backing down, you got worse. You carried on, waging your wicked campaign of abuse despite knowing full well how it would end. You deserve everything you get.
Please, Chloe, don't say things like that. I can change, I swear. And to prove it, I have an announcement to make. I hereby officially acknowledge you as my son's wife and a proud member of this family. Congratulations, dear. This is the moment you've been waiting for. Aren't you over the moon? Please, all I ask is that you don't abandon me.
Sorry, Bernadine, but would you mind telling that to your family instead? I'm just a useless stranger, so there's nothing I can do for you. Mine, Jeremy's, Chrissy's, and Craig's inboxes got flooded with desperately apologetic messages from a panicking Bernadine. But since we'd all reached our wits' ends with her a long time ago, we ignored her. Apparently, by some miracle, she managed to enlist the help of a distant relative while she was in the hospital. But realizing she probably helped her, not knowing what she'd done, we made sure to fill the entire family in on the details of her misdeeds. And before long, she didn't have a single ally left. Now, she lives on her own in total isolation in a house that no one visits. I hope she finally understands how horrible it feels to be treated by a stranger by your family. What goes around comes around, so be nice, folks. We have no intention of forgiving her, but since no one's willing to take responsibility for caring for her, when she gets older, we'll have to put her in a care home when the time comes. We're not speaking to her at all, for the time being though. I hope she has a long, hard think about behavior. I'm not holding my breath that she'll change, but hey, anything's possible. Anyway, listen up, because I have an announcement to make. Half a year after announcing the termination of relations with the mother-in-law from hell, I fell pregnant, and I'm currently living life at about twice my usual size. I get horrible morning sickness sometimes, but I take that any day over the vicious bullying I used to put up with. To tell you the truth, my stress levels are virtually non-existent, and I've never been happier. Can you imagine if I fell pregnant during the Bernadine saga? I shudder to think about what kind of stress would have done to the baby. There's no doubt about it. She would have pushed me over the edge eventually if we didn't get rid of her. I'm so relieved we did what we had to do before it came to that. It's perfectly natural to want to earn the approval of your mother-in-law. But this whole thing taught me that you should always be willing to draw the line, because no one's approval is worth sacrificing your mental health. My real family are amazing, supportive towards me, and I feel blessed to have them in my life. I always let them know how much I appreciate them.
Lydia, I'm going to be home late again tonight. I think I'll make it home around 9 p.m. or so. Can you make sure to have a hot dinner ready for me by then?
It's pretty rare that you ever have to stay late for work, right?
One of my coworkers caught a cold, so I have to pick up the slack. And I had the day off tomorrow, but I'm sure that I'll now have to come in and take care of this work again.
I see. Well, I've heard that recently a pretty bad cold has been going around. I'm sure your coworker isn't having such a good time. I hope he can get over it in the next few days.
Well, if he doesn't, that'll only mean I have to do more of his work. I'm sort of wondering why he even gets the day off for a cold anyway. It's not like it's that bad of a sickness, so he should be just fine sitting in an office chair and getting his work done.
Well, you have to understand that it might be worse for him. Depending on who you are, you might get colds far worse than others, where you get fevers and have bad headaches. I'm sure if that's the symptoms he has, he might not even be able to focus on any sort of work.
Oh, come on. Colds are not that bad. Well, I'm going to remember this and let him know it's his fault that I have to work more.
Huh? You're going to hold this against him? Can you please stop doing that? That poor coworker of yours is probably already pretty upset that he couldn't work today.
Huh? Well, this is all his fault, isn't it? He forced me to have to stay 4 hours later today to work, and might even make me come in tomorrow as well.
This isn't the kind of situation where you can blame anyone. I'm sure he never caught that cold on purpose.
Well, it is his responsibility to make sure that he stays healthy during the winter. And we all know that colds are nothing compared to things like the flu.
It doesn't matter that he has to stay home for a cold. For some people, colds are just runny noses, but for others, they can be really high fevers and terrible coughs.
No, he's just a weak loser for staying home. And at work, he never speaks with confidence and doesn't even have the drive to finish all his work a lot of the time. Honestly, I don't even know how he became an adult in the first place. I bet he isn't even aware of all the trouble he causes other people here.
I feel that you've had to take days off work for illnesses as well before, right? I don't think you should say things like that when you yourself have made other coworkers do your work for you.
I've made sure to take great care of my health for a long time now. Unlike me though, that loser never seems to care what he eats or if he washes his hands.
Even some of the most healthy people come down with terrible illnesses every once in a while.
Well, if I were ever to come down with something bad, it would be your fault.
Excuse me? My fault?
Well, who else's fault would it be? You're my wife, and it's your job to make sure that your husband's health is kept in check. That's why you always have to make me very well-balanced meals. And you have to make sure to keep me from getting overstressed. You welcome me to a relaxing home.
Well, I'm doing my best to make healthy meals for the both of us. But you can't just expect me to protect you from everything, right? I mean, when you're sleeping at night during the winter, you always kick your blankets off yourself, which can lead to you getting a cold. You also never dry yourself off well enough after a shower and end up feeling cold after, right?
Those sorts of things aren't ever going to make me sick. And I've told you before that if I ever throw the blankets off myself, to cover me back up, right?
Well, that's if I wake up and see you laying out in the open. But I'm not getting up every night to check on you.
Well, you should know that it's your job to make sure that I'm well supported and never run into any health issues while we're together. It's all because of my good health that we've been able to live a happy life together, right?
I understand that, but I just want to say that you need to be more accepting of what happens with other people and stop acting so self-centered.
Huh? Self-centered? What do you mean?
It's not just about you not caring about your coworkers' health, but also that you expect it to be my fault if you were to ever get sick. There's also you always asking me to do things for you, like always having food ready for you when you get home.
Well, why wouldn't I expect those things from you? It's your job to care for me and the house.
And I know that. I normally am doing my best to care for you and getting all the chores handled at home. But if you were ever to get sick, you wouldn't just blame me for it and start acting like a jerk, right?
Well, that's why I'm asking you to make sure that I stay healthy, so something like that doesn't have to happen. You can continue to manage that, right?
I am trying my best, Dustin.
And you have to continue with that.
Fine, I get it. But since I don't have all the time in the world to always have dinner ready for you, I'll start making soups and things you can warm up on the stove when you get home.
Well, as long as that keeps me from getting sick, that's fine. All right, I hope that whatever you make for me tonight is perfect. I'll do my best here to take care of all the mess my useless coworkers left me with.
Dustin, I'm sorry. I'm not going to be able to make anything for dinner tonight, so can you go ahead and heat up what's left in the fridge?
Huh? Why?
I told you this morning that I'm not feeling too well, right? And as time went on, I started to get a pretty bad fever, and so I've been dealing with that.
And so what if you have a fever? That shouldn't keep you from making dinner for me, right?
But I have a really bad headache because of this fever. Right now, my fever is sitting at 100 degrees.
Seriously? That's not the flu, is it?
Well, I don't think so. I went to the doctor this morning to have him check that, and he said it's not looking like the flu to him.
Then you're fine. All you have is a basic cold.
But even if it's just a basic cold, I'm still not feeling great at all.
Well, maybe you're just too weak then. I spoke with you all about this before, right? Those that get sick from something like the cold are weak losers. If you just had the strength to tell yourself not to lose to some cold, then you'd be well enough to make me a simple meal.
I'm telling you, I can't do anything for you right now. Can you stop acting like whatever you think is what everyone else should think as well?
Huh? Are you starting to complain to me?
I'm not complaining, but rather telling you how I feel.
It's your fault that you caught that cold, right? So stop trying to push your responsibilities off on me.
I'm not doing anything like that.
Really?
I already said that there's food left over in the fridge for you to come home and warm up for dinner tonight.
Well, when did you make that food that's sitting in there?
It's the food we had a few days ago for dinner. It hasn't even been in there that long, so it's still perfectly fine to eat.
I'm not touching anything that's from a few days ago. There's no way I'm going to eat any of that.
But you said before that you're fine with warming up food that's already been prepared for you, right?
Well, that's if it's been prepared in the same day, not something that's been sitting on a plate in the fridge for the past few days. So, does this mean that I'm going to have to fend for myself now?
All you have to do is heat it up.
Well, what about salad? Who's going to be the one to prepare all the vegetables for me?
Just pick something up from the store on your way home. Then you don't even have to do anything and can eat it right when you get home.
I'm not eating a pre-made salad from some store. I have no idea what they might have put in those salads.
Hey, please, can you just let me sleep for the rest of the day? I'm sure if I can just get some rest today, I'll be feeling much better by tomorrow.
Well, if you're not going to feel better until tomorrow, what am I going to do for the rest of the day?
Stop saying that crap.
You have a few more hours before I'm home. You can make something for me in that time.
Hey, we are a couple, aren't we? During times like this, you should be able to help me out. I'm telling you that this cold is really bad and I just want to sleep in this warm bed for the rest of the day.
Huh? But you've been the one constantly relying on me to care for you, right? When will you come around and help me?
I'm helping you with things all the time. I've helped you by taking important things to you while you're at work. And the last time you caught a cold yourself, I was right beside you making sure you had everything you needed.
Well, that's because me getting sick is always your fault. So you had to make up for getting me sick by taking care of me. And back when I last caught a cold, it was the weekend, so I wasn't causing any harm for anyone.
Why are you able to act this selfishly?
Maybe if you stopped going on and on about how I'm the bad person and complaining all the time, your cold would be able to go away much quicker. You have enough energy to be on your phone right now, right? That must mean you also have the energy to cook me a dang meal.
I can't. I'm able to text you right now because I'm laying in bed. That's why. If I start to get up and move, I begin to feel really lightheaded and get close to passing out.
I told you, it's just a freaking cold. I don't care that you feel a little sick. You have work you have to do, and nothing is going to stop you from doing it.
Are you really going to say something like that to your own wife?
Well, if you're going to just slack off now, then why did I even bother marrying you? If you can't make me a simple meal every day, then what good are you to me?
All right, I should do just as you've asked of me.
That's right. You should have been doing as I've asked from the start. And to keep myself from getting a cold like you, can you sleep downstairs tonight? I don't want to be in the same room as you, so maybe go into the basement when I get home. And make sure that those sheets that you're laying in right now are changed for me to sleep in tonight. That's something any housewife would do for their husband while they're sick, right? Lydia, I'm going to come home right now.
Huh? Right now? It's only noon. What happened to you? Are you going to take the rest of the day off?
I think I've gotten the flu.
Are you sure? Did you already go to the doctor to check and see?
Yes, I did. I got some medication from them. So can you go ahead and get me an ice pack ready to help cool my head off?
I can't. I have a part-time job I have to go to.
You should be able to take the day off, right?
Well, I'm not the one that came down with the flu now, am I? So what makes you think I need to take the day off?
You know better than to ask that question. You have to come home to take care of me while I'm sick.
You're not some child anymore. You should be able to crawl into bed and go to sleep by yourself, right?
Well, who's going to make lunch for me? I haven't had a chance to eat anything yet.
You have that lunch that you brought to work with you, right?
I'm not going to eat any of that. I just can't stand the smell of it right now. Can you make some chicken noodle soup or something for me?
I just said that I'm heading to work now. I'm sorry, but if you want to eat soup, go ahead and make it yourself.
I shouldn't be having to make myself anything when I'm feeling this bad, though.
Well then, why not stop at the store and get some pre-made soup to take home with you? There's all kinds of soups that you can buy that you can just heat up when you want to eat it.
You know that I don't like to eat pre-made crap they sell in grocery stores?
But when you were in college, you ate all sorts of that crap, right?
Well, back then I wasn't married to someone that could make meals for me. I have a wife now, and she should be the one making my food.
I'm leaving the house right now, so I can't. I'm going to get on my bike now.
Hey, wait. What am I supposed to do then?
I'll be back home after I get out of work later tonight. When I get home, I'll make you something to eat.
But what will I eat before then? And what about my ice pack? Do you expect me to go into the freezer to grab one?
You can grab a cold patch at the pharmacy or something. Are you going to tell me that you can't stand using something that isn't real ice?
Why are you talking to me with that attitude? Are you trying to treat me like I'm stupid or something?
Well, you should be able to take care of yourself, right?
I need you to take the day off work, okay?
What?
I am way more important than some worthless part-time job, right?
Even if I'm home with you, it won't help you get over that flu, right?
But you're my wife, and it's your #1 job to care for your husband. Who do you think's the breadwinner for this house? Do you understand me? When I tell you to call in and take the day off, you do that.
You are way too selfish, Dustin.
This is my house, and I'm the one that makes the rules here. If you choose not to listen to what I say and follow the rules, then it's time for a divorce.
Divorce, huh? You think we have to get divorced over me not giving up my time for you?
Of course. You're supposed to be here for me whenever I need your help, and here you are avoiding me. If you understand me, then hurry up and come back home. And on your way back, pick up whatever you need to help take care of me. I'm the one that's sick, so it's already hard enough for me to get into the house.
I see. All right then, let me call and talk to my manager, but I'm still not sure if I can take the day off yet.
If they don't let you take the day off, then just tell them you quit. You're not even making enough there to make a difference in our earnings. You'll be able to find another place to work after. Hey, Lydia, answer the phone.
What?
I'm still sick and I have no idea where you went. Come back here and take care of me. I told you yesterday that as my wife, you need to step up and do your dang job.
I don't want to take care of you, so we're getting divorced.
What? I have the flu right now, though.
And? What?
Are you saying that I should be able to handle myself when I'm this sick?
That's right, because I'm done being your wife. I don't give a crap if it's the flu or if you have cancer.
You're saying that to your own husband when he can barely stand up? Why do you have to treat me like such trash?
Well, when I had a high fever and could barely move from my cold, you wanted me to take care of the chores, right?
You only had a simple cold. I have the flu. Compared to a cold, this is much, much worse.
You're how many years old and still talk like you haven't graduated from preschool? I'm embarrassed to hear you talking like that. What makes you think you can just rank illnesses like that? And just to let you know, there are cases of the cold where you can have the worst fevers than what the flu causes. I think either one of those illnesses is terrible to deal with.
I can't do this. I'll listen to your bullcrap later. Just get back here and care for me. I'm really not feeling well at all.
Well, when I asked you to help me when I was sick, you never listened to a single thing, right? You told me I was sick because I was weak, right? Actually, you blame me for getting sick in the first place. Yet now that you've gotten sick, you think I need to listen to you asking for help. Stop acting like such a hypocrite.
Well, I got this flu from someone else. When I get sick, it is never, ever my fault.
Well, that was probably the same case for me then, right? I was making sure to care for myself by washing my hands all the time and eating really healthy. I even made sure to always stay warm so that I didn't develop any runny noses, yet I still caught a cold.
I don't want to listen to this right now.
Well, you keep replying to me, right? I'm just saying that when I was sick, all you did was make up excuses for why it was all my fault. It sucks, doesn't it? Sucks to be blamed and helpless when you're already sick.
I'm the one that's been making sure you have money to buy food and a roof over your head. So you have no right to talk back to me like this.
I never said anything about you having money to care for us. Would you rather work the part-time job and do the chores while I go out and work full-time? Because it seems like you're complaining about being the breadwinner now. Doesn't matter to me, though. I had to continue doing my job while I was sick.
Well, doing housework is nothing compared to a full-time job.
Well, if it's nothing, then you should be able to care for yourself, right? After all, caring for someone while they're sick isn't a chore, so I shouldn't have to do it, right?
But before this, you always made sure to care for me when I got sick.
And that was because back then I saw you as my husband. But now that I know you don't want to care for me when I'm sick, I've had a change of heart. And now that you've gotten sick again, you want me to still care for you? This isn't some kind of joke.
All right, I messed up. So, can you please come home now? I just can't take being by myself feeling this bad anymore.
Oh, please. I already said I'm leaving you.
Are you an idiot? Why would you want to leave me over this?
It was you that said something like this before, right? You said that if I don't care for you, you divorce me, right? So I'm just following what you said and leaving you because I don't feel the need or want to care for you.
I was just kidding about that.
You mean you were just threatening me then? Now I get why you're such a crappy person. You thought that threatening me with divorce was a good way to get me to do as you said, huh? You think that because I only work part-time, I have no way of supporting myself if I leave.
No, hold on.
Oh, I think I'm right. You're the kind of man that thinks everyone needs to listen to you and understand that you're always right. And when they don't, you just threaten them and make horrible comments about them. Ever since we got married, I've slowly been watching as you've acted like that towards so many people. And now I realize just how bad you've gotten. All I see now is that continuing to stay together with you is 10 times worse than some flu. I've really had more awful experiences with you during our marriage than fun ones.
I'm sorry.
You're way too late now. I'm never going to forget about the way you treated me and others. And that's what has made me completely give up on being together with you.
I know that I was wrong. I want to treat you better though now. So please, rethink leaving me over something silly like this.
I'm not as kind as I once was, Dustin. You asking for my forgiveness is going to get you nowhere, because I just don't love you anymore. I've had the chance to think long and hard about a relationship, and it's far too late to try and change that.
I promise that I'll change. And the next time you come down with something, I promise to be right there to care for your every need.
You're promising me something that I know is impossible for you to do? And by the way, when I'm sick or something, I don't even want to see your face. I just know that all you do is complain and try and blame me for everything.
Please, Lydia, please just forgive me. I need you to stay in my life. My fever has gotten a lot worse since yesterday, and I really can't handle it anymore.
Well, I have no need for you, so no thanks. Stop asking for me to be with you only when it benefits yourself. Maybe it's because you're a weak loser that you've gotten this sick, right? Perhaps you should do as you told me and become stronger. After that, I went back to my parents' home, and the following day I got in touch with the lawyer who I began talking to about the next steps in the divorce. I continued to hear about how my husband wanted me to come back to him because he couldn't live without me. But when I had my lawyer tell him that I'd never come back, he finally realized it was over and agreed to the divorce. When my ex had to take off work for his flu, a lot of his coworkers had to pick up the slack. And when he was finally well enough to go back in, everyone there gave him the cold shoulder. It's pretty well known that anyone can become really sick, and during those times they will most likely have to take work off. But I think Dustin finally started to learn that because of his selfishness towards other coworkers, they were no longer happy about him doing the one thing he complained about so much. I guess you could say that Dustin really did end up getting what he had coming for him. Now, because he is back to living on his own, he's had to try and figure out how to do the chores again, as well as eating a lot more takeout and junk food. He has even called me before crying and asking for me to teach him how to use the vacuum cleaner and the washer. Of course, none of his problems have anything to do with me, so I quickly ended the call before he could even start asking for me to come back to him. It's just crazy that he thinks I'd still want to help him after all we've been through. It was really tough on my heart to having to think about divorcing Dustin after all the years we spent together, but after remembering how often he mistreated me, I learned that this was the right call and that I'm feeling way more free than I used to. Right now, I've even been able to find a full-time job for myself again, and I'm starting a fresh new chapter in my life. It's a bit difficult to have to learn a whole bunch of new things, but I'm also having way more fun being single than I had being around my ex. And as for any desire to find another man, I have none, and I'm only trying to focus on helping myself become a strong woman. And then maybe someday when I really know my worth, I can find a man that understands my feelings and is able to treat me fairly. I remember just before marrying Dustin that he always seemed a little distant from me until he needed my help. And to avoid ever letting that happen again, I'm going to make sure that the next man shows his love to me every time we're together. Then once I'm sure that I found the right man, I'll make it my goal to make every moment with them better than the life I had married to that weak loser Dustin. Hey, Owen. I just finished with all the paperwork at the nursing home. Your mom has been safely admitted without trouble. She said she likes her room.
Okay. You must be glad she's not your responsibility anymore. You can live without burden.
Why do you say things like that?
It's true, though. Without her at home, you'll have nothing to do. Now you get to be a bored, full-time housewife.
There are a lot of things I have to do around the house as a housemaker. Besides, I will be visiting her every week.
Well, obviously. Still, it's so much better than taking care of her at home 24/7.
You're right, but I don't make it sound like you did anything for her. I took care of her, not you.
Excuse me? You live off what I make it work. I have the right to say whatever I want.
You may, but I don't think you understand anything about taking care of an elderly at home. The past 5 years have been really hard for me.
Yeah, right. I don't think you understand how hard it is to work for your family day and night. Don't be so full of yourself just because you took care of my mom.
I'm not being full of myself.
Yes, you are. It means you think you're better if you talk back to me. But you don't get to do that. Not when you don't even make a penny.
If it were a job to take care of your mom, I would have made a lot by now.
Give me a break, woman. You know nothing about making money or caregiving. See, this is why I hate talking to housewives. None of you have a sense of professionalism.
I will gladly work again. Think about it. Your mom is in a nursing home now. The kids are in college. If you think I'll be bored, then I will find a job.
You? Work? This is hilarious. How long has it been since you last had a job? Why on earth do you think you'll be of any use for any kind of job?
You don't know that. It's true I haven't worked in a while, but it doesn't mean I have never worked. Surely there is something out there I can do.
Don't embarrass yourself. You think you can do these things, but you can't. And no one would hire an old woman like you.
I think I would be able to find something at nursing homes, perhaps as a housekeeper in the facility, or even a caregiver. I do have hands-on experience with your mother.
You're not even trained. Anyone can take care of their family in their own home. And I think you are forgetting that you have to do your own housekeeping. Will you do all the chores perfectly, without any compromise?
I think I can if I only work part-time. I have taken care of your mom while I do all the housework, so I don't think it's impossible.
Well, it is impossible. Once you start working, you'll end up doing overtime because of this and that and blah, 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 blah. I can easily imagine you slacking on chores. Wait a minute. Are you saying you want to get a job because you don't want to do housework?
What? No, Owen.
I'm probably right. Or you just want cash now that you have time to play around.
You really don't trust me, do you? I'm only suggesting to work because you keep saying I live off of what you make. If you don't like paying everything for me, then I'm saying I am happy to provide for myself.
Nothing good comes out of women with money. You know, just keep your mouth shut and do as I say. You don't find any job anyway. No one will want you.
Sure, whatever.
It's best for a woman to stand behind her husband and do as he says. Try not to piss me off, especially now that you're old and worthless. Erica, where the hell is my lunch?
It's in the fridge. Do you not see it?
Making me warm my own food?
Yes? I hope you don't mind me to do that for you.
Why the hell do I have to do a chore on a day off? It's your damn job to have food ready so that I can eat it as soon as I want it!
I told you I was seeing your mother today. I specifically told you that you'll be eating on your own if you're not visiting her with me. How am I supposed to warm your food while being at her nursing home, huh?
I'll not eat such cold food!
That's what microwaves are for. Do you not know how to use it?
That should be your priority, not my mother! Why the hell did you not prepare my food before you went off to see her?
The food that is in front of you right now, see it? I made that for you before I left. I put it in the fridge so that it stays fresh. Now, all you need to do is put it in the microwave and warm it up for a couple of minutes. You know, if you can't even do that, you are going to have a lot of trouble in the future.
Why the hell would I have any trouble?
You don't know if I'll be around forever. anything could happen to me. What are you going to do then? You should stop being dependent on me.
What? Dependent on you? Who the hell makes money to put food on your table?
You do.
If you know that, why can't you listen to what I say? How many times do I have to tell you? You always forget anything I say in seconds. You're dumber than a chicken.
It's not that I don't understand that you pay for me. I'm just worried for you. You don't know what life has in store for you.
Sure I do. I have nothing to worry about as long as you do as I say. And that includes you not getting sick while I'm alive. You will manage your health so that you can take care of me and do your role.
Owen, you know I can't control everything. I could end up with a terminal illness or get hit by a car tomorrow. Stop acting like a child.
You're the one disobeying me like a child. Why won't you listen to me? Just come home now.
What? Even if I leave now, it will take me an hour to get home.
I said come home.
You would rather wait an hour than use their microwave for a couple of minutes? The food is right in front of you.
You need to do your job.
Owen, seriously?
I have never been more serious. I'm telling you that you need to complete the task you are required of.
I can't come home just yet. I have a meeting about your mother with the caregivers in the afternoon. You will have to warm your food by yourself.
You still want to argue with me?
I really prefer not to.
What is wrong with you? You can't have an attitude with me. I'll kick you out of the house. In fact, I don't have a problem if you don't come home at all.
I'm sorry, but no matter what you say, I can't come home at the moment. I have my obligations to your mother and caregivers too. I will not spare it to warm your food. If you don't want to warm it yourself, then you will have to wait for me to come home after the meeting.
I said, come home now! I'm serious! You've pissed me off badly, Erica! If you don't come home now, your life is over. Are you there? Hello? Reply to me, bitch! Erica, how long are you going to refuse to do your job? You need to do the chores.
I have not refused. You don't see it, but I've actually done some housework so that the house doesn't become dump.
Some housework? Give me a break! Cleaning is not the only work you need to do. You don't wake me in the morning, don't even say hello. You make me eat on my own. What kind of a wife are you?
You can wake yourself up in the morning. You're not in elementary school. Besides, the food you eat on your own is still prepared by me. And I don't say hello to you because you have been ignoring me. Was I supposed to say hello anyway if you ignore me? Why should I try to be nice when you're not?
You don't understand what it means to be a wife.
I do though, and from what I understand, being a wife is different from being a mother. You are an adult for crying out loud. You are an old man. It's quite embarrassing for a bloke like you to fully depend on a woman to get by.
Hey! Watch yourself. You get to live a decent life because I earn money. If you continue on with that attitude, I'll kick you out. I can disown you anytime. I have the authority to do that. You should try not to piss me off more than you already have.
I really don't care if you decide to disown me. But you should know that I'm not the one leaving this house. You are.
What? Have you gotten mad? This is my house. No one is being kicked out but you.
Too bad, Owen. You see, this house is actually mine now. Your mom transferred the ownership of this house to me.
My mom did what?
Yep, you read right.
Why on earth would you do something like that?
Probably because you never did anything for her. You dumped everything on me, and she knew that. I should note that both of us also know that you were having an affair with another woman while I was busy taking care of your mom. She left you though, didn't she? But I'll be taking legal actions for putting me under distress.
What are you talking about? You don't have any proof.
Don't underestimate me, Owen. Of course I do. You acted like you owned me or something, treated me like a slave all along. Your mom knew it and had a lot of sympathy for me. You should be ashamed that you made your elderly mother apologize for your behavior. It was her idea to join a nursing home because she didn't want me to live like this any longer. And when she did, she had all documents prepared so that she could transfer the ownership of this house. I now have the legal right to ask you to move out. So, like I said, you're the one getting kicked out. You better start packing the moment you get back from work.
Why am I hearing this now? Why didn't you tell me? You can't just suddenly make me move out.
You were telling me to get out a few minutes ago, though. You're telling me that you can, but not me? Well, you should try to understand that the wheels have turned. You can't act like a child and refuse to be treated the way you were treating others.
My mom would not choose you over me. You two didn't even get along when we began to live in the same house.
But I still treated her with respect and took care of her. It didn't take long for her to realize I wasn't a bad person, or that her own son, on the other hand, was.
Wait, you need to give me a minute. I'm not following any of this.
It doesn't matter if you do. Even if you don't understand, it won't change a thing. You are leaving this house immediately. By the way, I don't think I need to mention this, but we are obviously getting a divorce. My lawyer will be contacting you with the details.
Erica, let's not be emotional. We should sit down and talk this through.
What? But you were ready to kick me out. What is there to talk about?
About our future, of course. Even if you own the house, how are you gonna make a living? It'll be too difficult for you to find a job.
Everything will be fine, because I got myself a full-time job.
Huh?
I never told you, but I started a part-time job a little while ago at a nursing home as a caregiver. They were impressed with the knowledge I had and offered me a full-time position. I told them you were about to kick me out, and they have been nothing but supportive.
They must be desperate to hire someone like you.
Caregivers are needed everywhere, you know? So my hands-on experience and qualification made me a great candidate for a lot of jobs in the market.
Wait, what? You don't have any kind of qualifications?
I do. I completed all the requirements while I was taking care of your mom. She really helped me with it, you know? So now you know. I have absolutely no problem if we get a divorce. In fact, I strongly prefer it now, so that is the direction we'll be heading. Pack your things tonight and go. You no longer belong in this house. Hi, Owen. I packed your stuff and they can be picked up anytime. As usual, I did everything for you. Now all you have to do is take them with you, and I really hope that will be soon.
Erica, please wait! We haven't finished talking!
But it's been a couple of days since our last conversation. I patiently waited, but you still haven't packed your stuff. I said you were getting kicked out, so get moving.
I don't want to go!
Sorry, I wasn't asking about your feelings. Aren't you embarrassed you still need me to do everything for you? I can't believe I had to pack your stuff after telling you everything.
I wasn't planning on packing anything.
Why not? Do you mean I could just throw everything away?
No, of course not! I mean, I don't want to get a divorce.
Oh, well, sorry you changed your mind, but it doesn't matter to me. I wish to get a divorce very strongly. I hope we could settle things between ourselves, but it looks like we need our lawyers too, after all. I will inform him that you will reach him.
I said wait! You can't just ignore me and decide on everything. Just hold on a second, will ya?
I can't, Owen. I must go on with my life, and I have already given you a couple of days. I can't give you any more time. I want to clear the house before I officially start as full-time next month.
What do you mean you want to clear the house?
I'm selling it. I have to clean it while I have the time.
You're selling my house? Are you mad? You can't sell what my mother just gave you!
First of all, it's not your house, it's mine. And second, she knows about it. In fact, she recommended I sell the house when she transferred the ownership.
I tried to reach her to clarify things, but the staff won't let me in. They won't even transfer my phone calls.
Because she told me not to. She doesn't like how you yell when you get excited and worries you would scare everyone. It's not healthy, especially for the elderly folks. And for your information, she's not interested in seeing you either.
This is absurd. You're selling the house I grew up in, where I made lots of great memories with my family, and you are ambushing me to a divorce. What have I worked for all these years?
Don't pretend like you ever worked for your family. You barely handed me enough to put food on the table. Yet, you would always complain how boring my cooking was. And you were such a cheapskate about what the kids could buy. Even if they needed something for school, you would complain that they were being greedy. Do you know I used to pay from the money I saved before marrying you? And then I had to ask my parents sometimes if they would pitch in.
I have always worked for my family.
Is that so? Well, I'm sorry, but it never seemed like it. And it's kind of hard to believe since you had that girlfriend of yours. It's not really convincing now, is it? To say you worked for your family while you betrayed them. Besides, you treated me horribly. You thought I was a slave or something, didn't you?
Of course not!
Well, then how could you have mistreated me for years? I am human too. If you say or do nasty things to me, I get hurt. The reason why I'm divorcing you is because I can't let you hurt me anymore. I refuse to be your punching bag.
Erica, I'm sorry.
It's way too late for an apology. How could I accept it, huh?
I don't want our marriage to be over. These past couple of days, I've been reflecting on what I've done to you and how I've been dependent on you. Please give me a chance to make it all up to you. I will make sure I learn how to handle things on my own.
You see, I have given you many chances, but instead of listening, you explode every time, telling me that I was being disobedient. You never changed in the past, so I firmly believe you won't be able to change one bit in the future. That is why we are getting a divorce.
I'm sorry. I deeply regret what I have done. I'm begging you not to abandon me, please! I can't live without you, Erica!
How pathetic. I thought I was old and worthless to you, that I only needed to obey you.
I wasn't being serious, I swear!
Even if you didn't mean it, it still hurt me. You hurt me countless times. You can't take it back now. An apology is way overdue and will not be accepted.
Erica, don't leave me! You can live however you please from now on. You have my full support. Please don't say you're divorcing me. Please, take me back!
No, you did this to yourself, Owen. I can live on my own. You should learn how to as well. Maybe start by learning how to use the microwave. Owen had a hard time accepting reality, and our conversation didn't move forward for weeks. I had finally had enough and left everything in the hands of my lawyer after a while. Thanks to them, our divorce was filed 6 months later. Foreseeing a divorce in the future, I had been collecting proof of his infidelity and abuse for several years. The collection was more than enough to confirm my grounds. It helped me win a significant amount of consolation money, as well as divisions of assets. I was very pleased with the outcome, that he finally got what he deserved. He refused to leave the house for a while, so I ended up calling the police to remove him. I sent his belongings to his storage to clear the house, and shortly after, the property was successfully sold. The last time I saw him in court, he was wearing a tired, wrinkled shirt that made him look very miserable. I heard rumors that he found himself a small condo, but because he doesn't know how to do any housework, his home is literally full of trash. I bet he still doesn't know how to wash or iron clothes, or take out the trash. Owen should know by now how much I have done for him all those years, and regret that he ever mistreated me. After our divorce, I invited my children for a celebration. My kids always knew what a horrible husband he was to me, and supported me throughout the divorce. It looks like he has contacted them multiple times for help, but knowing he would manipulate them, the kids have chosen to ignore him. As for me, I have gotten used to my full-time job as a caregiver. It has been a very long time since I've last had a job, but thankfully, I have been able to enjoy it. I am grateful for my mother-in-law for pushing me forward, and for my coworkers for giving me the opportunity to start a new life.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel.
Hey, what is this stupid message you left me? Where the hell are you?
I'm sure you can read what it says there. It is no longer possible to live with you.
Are you saying you're not coming back?
Correct. We are leaving you for a new life. We need to get a divorce.
Where is this coming from? A divorce? Where the hell is my son?
Do you think I would leave Jake with you? Of course I wouldn't. We are leaving, not only for me, but for Jake's sake as well.
What? You make it sound like I've done something to him.
Why don't you get it? All along, you've hurt Jake so much. You don't deserve to be his dad. You've said so many discouraging things to him, like the time you laughed at him when he said he wanted to become a hero to save people.
Are you serious? You are saying I hurt him because I said he can't be a hero? You are crazy!
It's not just once or twice. You broke his heart. Every time you say something like that, Jake goes to hide and cry. The first words that come out of your mouth in a conversation are always negative. It's very tiring to live with someone like that.
Because you guys are idiots! I'm not left with much choice. I mean, come on, a hero? He's too old for that.
You always look down on us and say many mean things. We have been hurt enough. We don't want to be around you anymore.
What mean things? You have to be specific.
You've called us stupid, idiots, worthless. You've also called us parasites, a burden, as if you are any better than us.
You are parasites! I make the money. You two just spend, spend, spend!
You're wrong. But even if that was true, you don't say such words to your wife and child. Jake has become unsocial because of you, because you keep denying his every move and words. He has lost his confidence. I can't let you do that to him anymore. No more. We've had enough.
Enough? I'm the one who's had enough. My wife is useless and my son is an idiot. You two have irritated me all along.
You should really try to fix your arrogance, or else you'll be left with no one around you.
What are you? Why the hell do I have to be dumped by you, you bitch? You can't live without my support.
No worries. I found a support group for people like us. They have already helped me find a job. It'll be fine. I am Jake's mother. It will be fine.
I don't accept this. You can't divorce me.
We'll take this all the way to the court then. My friend has agreed to introduce me to her lawyer. I will fight for Jake.
A lawyer? Whatever. If you want to leave me, then do as you please. But don't come back to me crying. Hey, long time no speak.
Tom, what do you want?
How are you?
I'm okay.
How is Jake? It's been what, like 5 years since I last saw him? But he's grown so much.
It was 7 years ago. Because you weren't interested in seeing him anymore, remember? Thankfully, Jake didn't want to see you either, so it worked out for all of us.
I was busy back then. Wow, hard to believe it's been 8 years since we've gotten a divorce. Does Jake work?
He's in college. So what, you're suddenly interested in seeing him again?
No, not really.
I figured. Why are you messaging me? What do you want?
Well, I just heard by word of mouth. Are you running a company now?
Who did you hear it from?
It doesn't really matter. So, is it true?
Yes.
Ha! Who would have thought a housewife like you would be able to run a company? What trick did you use?
Trick?
There's no way you could have just worked your way up. Did you honey trap some dying entrepreneur or something?
Of course not.
You must have used a dirty trick. I mean, you become a president of a company? You did something, I know it.
You have an active imagination. It's unfortunate you haven't changed.
Oh well, I don't care about how you got there. How much do you make? Is the company growing?
It's none of your business.
Oh, come on, tell me!
What about you? What have you been up to these days?
I quit my job.
Oh, is that so? You used to boast about how good your job was, that you were secured for the rest of your life because of it.
They let me go.
You got fired? For what? You must have done something.
That company was just heartless. I only borrowed a little bit of cash.
You embezzled their money? Of course they would fire you.
So I don't have a job right now. I get by on borrowed money from people, but I'm having trouble finding a decent job.
I see. Well, that's too bad for you.
Then I hear about you becoming a hotshot.
I'm not lending you any money.
No, that's not it.
Well, what then? What do you want from me?
Marry me.
What?
I'll let you be my wife again. I wouldn't want to marry anyone since I don't want to have to look after them. But I see you're not that anymore.
Wait a second. Why do you think you can talk down on me like that?
I also want an executive position in our company. I wouldn't mind being the president. But there will be too much to do, so I'll pass for now.
Very funny. There's no position for you anywhere in my company. I've worked hard with my teammates to start this company. There's not a chance you get a piece of it anyway.
I have more experience as a businessman. I can make the company bigger. Just do as I say.
You are a lunatic.
Ah, what did you just call me?
Why would I listen to you? You can't give me orders. You are not my boss, and we are not getting back together. Never.
You have no right to say no.
You actually think the world revolves around you, don't you? Well, think again. There must be something wrong with you. You're sick. I wonder if arrogance can be an illness.
Hey, watch yourself, woman. I am being nice to you right now by asking. You will regret this.
I will regret if I ever allowed you into my company. You would ruin our business in seconds.
What?
Did you think that I would obey if you intimidated me? Believe it or not, things have changed in 8 years. I have changed, and you mean nothing to me.
Changed? Don't make me laugh. You are the exact same worthless and useless idiot. I will give you a day to prepare. Tell your people and be ready for me. Hello? How long does it take to reply to me? It's been over a day. You better have been preparing my new position.
Oh, I've completely forgotten about you. What was it that you wanted again?
Yeah, excuse me. You've got some nerves to ignore me. I'm gonna make you cry again.
Cry? Why would I cry? Why should I cry for a filth like you?
You filth? Watch your mouth. You are useless without me.
Useless? I'm sorry, I don't know who you were referring to.
I'm talking about you, bitch.
Oh, I see. I thought you were talking about yourself.
You really do need a lesson, don't you? I'm gonna hurt you.
Hurt me? How? What can you possibly do? LOL. You don't have a job. You don't have money. Nothing.
You think you're allowed to talk to me like that? I will beat you!
Oh, I'm scared. So barbaric.
Don't try me, you will regret it.
How then? You have to be specific. What are you really going to do to make me regret it? You keep threatening me with nothing. You're embarrassing yourself.
I swear I will make you regret this. I know where you live.
How do you know where I live? Did you follow me?
I know your company. It wasn't hard to find you at all.
Ew, you are gross.
What?
I said you are gross. Are you bored? Oh, well, you must be since you don't have a job. You should stop wasting your time and do something productive, such as go look for a job.
You're mocking me now, seriously? Jake is home too, isn't he? I would hurt the both of you. You need to learn your place.
Oh, are you coming? I doubt you have the guts to show up. You are such a coward.
Who are you calling a coward?
You! When we were getting a divorce, it was hilarious how you got all scared the moment I said lawyer, LOL. You were terrified of the court. I mean, I always knew you didn't have balls, but that was just sad.
Okay, you said enough. I will teach you scared. I'm coming! Better not run, you bitch!
Blah, blah. Come if you can.
Help me.
Aw, what happened? I thought you wanted to teach me something.
You're supposed to be home.
I never said I was home. I'm working. And Jake is away. I said he's in college.
You fooled me. I went to your place and these huge men just ambushed me. Who the hell are they?
They are my staff. I told them my crazy ex was headed to my house and they agreed to greet you there. Because, you know, I couldn't myself.
Great. They dragged me into a car. I'm being taken somewhere now. Wait, do we headed to your office?
I don't think you have any business in my office.
Don't joke around with me. You ordered them to do this. Where am I going?
I only told them to greet you.
What are they doing to me? And what kind of company do you run? Your staff are all like a Hulk.
A security company. Aren't they the perfect guards? They are well trained.
They're terrible. All of them look like they're a part of a gang or something.
Oh, they're not. At least, not anymore.
Not anymore.
A lot of our staff have difficult backgrounds. Most are people who left gangs or bad friends to live a decent, good life. They sometimes have a hard time finding a job, so we hire them as security officers. It's a win-win relationship.
You hire gangs? You're out of your mind.
They are the best, hard-working staff ever. They are quite protective of me because I gave them a chance when they most needed it. They must feel like they owe me or something. That's why they might have seemed a little angry.
Wait, so then what are they going to do to me?
Well, you tried to hurt me, so my staff really dislikes you right now. I have no idea what they are up to next.
What? But you're saying they are good people now, right?
I think so. But you never know, I guess. Hope they don't hurt you too badly.
You have to stop them! Where are they taking me?
I wonder where.
I think the car is headed towards the sea. Oh my god, are they gonna drown me? Are they throwing me down the ocean?
You watch too much TV. I'm sure they won't go that far. They're not the mafia.
They would! I could see it in their eyes! Please stop them.
I don't know if I can.
I'm begging you! I will do anything if you stop them, please!
Anything? So, if I asked you to stay away from me forever, would you?
Yes! If that is what you want, I will stay away! I will never contact you again! I will leave you alone, I swear!
Not just me. You have to leave Jake alone, too. Never contact us again. Never. Don't even think that you are a father in any way. You have absolutely no relation to both of us. You will forget about us completely, as if we never met.
Okay, I will leave Jake alone too! I'm sorry I broke into your house. I'm sorry I followed you, and I'm sorry I ever called you names! I will forget the both of you.
I don't know, though. My staff were furious. They know how you treated me all along. They took it quite seriously. I mean, they were pissed.
Okay, I will apologize to them as well. I will tell them how sorry I am for treating their boss so badly. Oh, my knees. I don't want to die.
Are you sure, though? You said you wanted an executive position at my company.
No way. I don't want anything to do with a company like yours.
Excuse me?
Oh, no, that's not what I meant. That was a typo. I meant I don't think I have the confidence to work at such a great company. I take back that I ever said I wanted to join.
Oh, really? I was going to offer you a position. Not as an executive or anything, though. Just as one of my staffs. I'm not sure if you would get along with the other guys, but...
No, I'm not good enough for your team.
Oh, too bad.
Please, we're almost at the port. You have to stop them. I don't want to end my life like this.
Okay, I'll see what I can do. Hope they listen to me.
Thank you.
But if you ever show up in front of me ever again, I swear, Tom, you will regret it very much.
I know. I promise. I will never call you, come near you, or even speak of you again.
Good. So I guess this is it for us. Goodbye at last, you useless, worthless parasite. Five minutes later, I got a call from my staff. Tom was so completely shaken up that he wet his pants. They were all laughing so hard. As a note, my staff never would have hurt my ex. They may have gone astray when they were young, but they are all good men whom I trust very much. Everything was my plan. I wanted to give him a payback for what he had made me and my family go through 8 years ago, and also make sure that he never approached us again in the future. My devoted staff helped me make it happen. I treated them all with dinner afterwards. A couple of days later, I told Jake what happened. He was rather jealous that he couldn't play a part in my plan. Jake plays American football in college, so he is as huge as my staff. Now that I think of it, it may have been funny if Jake confronted his father, but he doesn't even deserve to see his son, so I'm glad everything is over now. It's too bad I wasn't there to witness him wet his pants, though.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel.
Hey, Sandra. You get finished up at the gynecologist?
Yeah, I'm just on my way out now, actually.
How'd it go?
I'm pregnant. They told me I'm 3 months along.
Oh my god, really? Yes! We did it, baby. I can't believe it. This is the best day of my life. What an incredible moment this is. I could do a song and dance. I'm so happy. Yippee!
Me too, sweetie. Isn't it amazing? It doesn't feel real yet, but I'm over the moon. It's like this weird, surreal mix of overwhelming joy and not feeling like I'm in the real world anymore.
No kidding, babe. I know exactly what you mean. I wonder if it's gonna be a boy or a girl. I can't wait to find out. You don't know the gender yet, right? Is it still too early for that?
Yeah, of course it is. We won't be able to find out for a little while yet. If I had to guess, I'd say next month at the earliest, but more likely it'll be the month after.
Oh, I see. Well, I guess we'll just have to hold tight then.
Do you really want to know? Do you have a preference either way? I know a lot of guys want their first to be a boy.
Nope. I'll be happy either way. I just think knowing the gender would make it a lot easier to imagine what life's gonna be like after it's born.
You do have a point.
Oh yeah, that reminds me. I have to tell my parents the good news. I could do it over the phone, but I think news like this deserves an in-person visit. Should I head over now?
Would you mind waiting just a tiny bit longer? If you wouldn't mind, I'd like to wait until I'm a little further into the stable period. I'm sure everything will be fine, but God forbid we went around telling everyone and then the worst happened. I've been told it's best not to get your hopes up too much this early on.
Oh, I see. That makes sense. Okay, how about we pay my folks a visit once we know the gender? That way we can reveal everything in one go.
Would that mean I'd have to go to your parents' house?
I know visiting my folks might not be right at the top of your list of favorite things to do, but I think it'd make a good impression if we both went over to deliver the news in person. My mom and dad are pretty old-fashioned, so I'm set to take over my dad's company one day, and what they really wanted was for us to move in with them to help look after them in their old age.
I'm sorry that didn't end up panning out.
Forget it. I already told you it's fine. It wasn't your fault anyway. You probably wouldn't have been so opposed to the idea if they weren't so horrible and disrespectful to you. I totally get it.
I knew they hated me ever since we first met. I can't believe they still flat out ignore me despite us having been married for over a year now.
I'm really sorry about my parents, babe. They're impossible. But I want you to know you haven't done a single thing to deserve any of it. And it's not your fault. I hope you don't let it get to you. It's not your fault you were raised by a single mom. It really bugs me how they constantly bring it up, as if you should feel bad about who happened to give birth to you. And the only reason you didn't end up going to university was because your mom encouraged you to find a job instead, right? I think the way they poke fun at you for not having a degree is totally unfair. To be honest with you, I think they're a pair of oddballs.
Do you think maybe I should go to university as a mature learner? You do hear about people getting their degrees in their 30s, sometimes even older. Maybe that way your parents might back off, and who knows, they might even start being nice to me.
Oh, don't be silly, babe. You don't have to force yourself to go to university just to satisfy my parents. Besides, they think degrees are worthless unless they're from elite universities.
I see. I wonder if there's anything I can do. I offered to lend a helping hand with the family business, but your dad said he'd rather I didn't.
I'm serious, Sandra. I don't want you to worry a bit about any of the crap my parents say. Just forget about them. Obviously, it'd be a little awkward if you didn't come along to family events and special occasions, what with me being lined up as a successor to the business and all. But beyond that, there's no need for you to have anything to do with them. Let's keep your interactions to a bare minimum, okay?
You're right, I like the sound of that. But still, they introduced me to everyone as Little Miss Helper at the last Thanksgiving dinner. I'm not sure I'm going to be much use to your image as the next company president when they treat me like this.
I'm really sorry about that, babe. I'll have a word with them both about it, okay? Oh yeah, I almost forgot. What was going on with you and my big brother at Thanksgiving? You never usually talk to him.
It's not like we were making idle small talk or anything. He just asked me to help him with the dinner arrangements.
Even still, I think it'd be best if you didn't have anything to do with my brother.
Really? Why is that?
Remember when I told you before about him showing up out of the blue to move back in with our parents?
Yeah.
Apparently he got wrapped up in some shady business with some very bad people. Mom told me he didn't have a cent to his name, and when he turned up on their doorstep at 11 p.m. that night, they took him in and are keeping a roof over his head for the time being because he has nowhere else to go. But my brother's always been a lazy good-for-nothing. I mean, he dropped out of college for crying out loud. Who even does that? I'd be worried about you getting wrapped up in some kind of trouble if you two started getting along.
I doubt we'll start getting along just because I helped him set the table on Thanksgiving. That's literally the most we've ever spoken. I barely know anything about him. And besides, we hardly ever see each other anyway. Don't get me wrong, I'm happy that at least one member of your family doesn't flat out ignore me.
Okay, I guess there's nothing to worry about then. Just make sure you don't go anywhere near him when we go to my folks' place in the future. Anyway, I'm about to head back to work.
Good luck, sweetie. I hope you're ready for tonight's supper. It's gonna be a tad more luxurious than what we usually have. Get excited!
Woohoo! You're the best, babe. I can't wait. Drive safe on the way home from the gynecologist. You're not the only one you're looking out for anymore.
George, are you there? Will you be coming home tonight?
Oh, I'm so sorry, babe. Some stuff went down at the office and I got kept way later than I intended. Can you believe Graham from accounting forgot to log one of the biggest orders we've ever had? The entire team's running around the office like headless chickens trying to clean up the mess he made. It'd be comical if it wasn't such a freaking disaster. Anyway, I don't think I'm going to be able to make it home for a little while yet.
Wow, I see. That does sound pretty chaotic. Have you found time to eat amongst the madness?
Yeah, I stopped over at my folks' place on my break for a bite to eat. Oh, damn. You didn't make supper, did you?
Yes. You didn't message me, so I assumed you'd be home on time like normal. But it's fine. Don't worry about it. You can always heat it up in the morning.
I'm really sorry, babe. How are you feeling today?
I'm fine. Thanks for asking. The morning sickness seems to have stopped now.
That's great news, but still, you're bound to have sudden bouts of sickness and nausea when you're pregnant. I want you to rest if you feel like you need to. Don't go overdoing it on housework or anything, okay, babe?
Don't worry, I won't. Oh yeah, did your mom and dad say anything about the baby? They didn't seem even remotely interested when we announced the pregnancy to them yesterday.
No kidding. They were just as rude and blunt with you as ever. But my dad's been going around the office today telling all his employees he's going to be a grandpa. Looks like the bluntness was just a front. He's over the moon.
I see.
He's had the biggest, cheesiest grin on his face all day. I think he's even happier because it's going to be a boy.
Huh? Why?
Because that means he can inherit my dad's company one day.
Does that mean that's what you want for our son too?
Yeah, obviously. I'd feel terrible if my family ever lost the company.
I see. Don't get me wrong, if our son grows up and decides he wants to inherit the company one day, I'll be 100% behind him. But equally, if he decided he wanted to do something else, maybe go into a different industry or do his own thing, following his own passions, I'd be there to support him in that too.
Sandra, you should have known what you were getting yourself into when you married me. We have to produce a successor for the family business. Me and you aren't the only ones in this relationship, and it's not our decision to make.
But I want to prioritize our son and what he wants over the aspirations of anyone else.
It's fine. You don't have to get it. I've always found the sight of you funny.
What's that supposed to mean?
Forget it. As long as I understand, that's all that matters, right?
Why do I feel like you're trying to imply something?
All you need to worry about is producing a healthy son for me, Sandra. It's paramount that he grows up to be as robust and vigorous as humanly possible. So stop worrying about inconsequential gobbledygook and focus on looking after yourself. If you ever find yourself struggling to keep on top of the housework, I'm happy for us to hire a maid. I'm way too busy to help out around the house, so it might actually make sense.
Are things set to get busier for you now or something?
Yeah, but don't sweat it. Things should calm down in time for the birth.
I see.
Oh, hang on a sec. I have a message for you.
Huh?
My mom just suggested you go and stay with her and my dad instead of resting up at your mom's place after the birth.
What? Your mom said that? Really?
I knew it. News of their first grandson has made them completely change their tune. They must be really pleased.
If they really are, that's amazing news.
Something tells me things between you guys are gonna change for the better real soon. I can feel it already. I bet they're both gonna start being super nice to you. Onwards and upwards, right? So what's it gonna be, babe? Go on, move into my folks' place for a little while after our son's born, won't you? She's extended you an olive branch by offering to take you in like this. Your mom still works full-time, right? I doubt she'll be able to spare much time to look after you if you stay with her.
Well, it's true, she does. But I'd be lying if I said the idea didn't make me a little nervous. I can't just forget about how they've been with me this whole time. I think I'd feel awkward.
There's nothing to feel awkward about, babe. Don't sweat it. Your recovery and our son will be their number one priority.
Can I have some time to think on it a little?
Well, I guess you don't have to give me an answer straight away. But to be perfectly honest with you, babe, I'd have a lot more peace of mind if we moved in with them. You know how busy I get with work. I'd feel super reassured knowing they're around to look after you. We'll be able to see each other on my lunch breaks that way too. What with their house being so close to my workplace, isn't that the ideal scenario in every way possible?
You really think so? Okay, sweetie, I'll think about it.
All right. Try to be positive and keep an open mind. If on the off chance you do move in with them and they start treating me like crap like before, I'll completely lose my shit with them. So if that's what you're worried about, there's no need. I have your back, Sandra. If you decide it's not for you and you want out, you can leave whenever you like.
Got it. Thank you, George. That makes me feel a whole lot better. By the way, what time will you be home tonight?
It'll probably be after midnight the way things are going.
Right, it's pretty late already.
I think it might make more sense to stay at my folks' place tonight. The trains are always full of weirdos at this time. Besides, I'm up first thing tomorrow morning too.
I see.
I'm sorry, babe. I hate leaving you on your own like this.
You'll get more sleep that way, though. I think it's for the best. Good luck with work. Hopefully they let you go sooner rather than later. Don't overdo it, sweetie.
You're right. I'd be of no use to anyone if I collapse from exhaustion. You too, babe. That little boy in your belly is our #1 priority right now. Don't hesitate to message me if you need anything. Good evening. Is this Sandra's number? It's George's brother, Adam.
Huh? Adam? Where did you get my number?
I'm sorry to message you out of the blue like this. I found it by looking through George's phone.
I see. So, what did you want?
I'm just going to come straight out with it. If you can, you need to divorce my brother. If you can't, don't ever come anywhere near this house again.
Huh? Adam, what the heck are you talking about? Divorce? Stay away from the house? Did I do something to upset you?
If you don't want your little boy to get stolen away from you, then I suggest you do as I say. Do not trust my family.
What's that supposed to mean? I am so confused.
You have been warned. You're not to discuss what I'm telling you now with anyone. Obviously, that also includes my brother.
Just slow down a sec. I have no idea what you're talking about. Wait a sec. Seriously? You as well? Are you saying all this stuff because you don't approve of me marrying your brother either? Ugh. I thought you were different to your parents. I can't go along with what you're saying, Adam. George is my husband. Surely you can't be serious. Could you at least explain why you're saying these things?
You're planning on moving in with us for your recovery after your son's birth, right?
Yes. George works a lot, and I'd struggle a lot raising a little boy on my own. It was your mom's idea.
My family are planning on stealing your baby when you move in with them.
Steal? My baby? That's crazy talk. Why on earth would they do something like that? Me and George are his parents, so naturally we'll have legal custody. Even if they did steal him, we could just go to the police.
You're tragically mistaken. If they do get their grubby mitts on the boy, you may as well think of it as being the last time you see him.
Adam, please, what you're saying is absolutely insane. What exactly am I supposed to say to this? What, should I just blindly believe you? I need to discuss this with George.
No, you mustn't mention a word of this to my brother. He's fully on board with my parents' twisted plan.
No way, he'd never agree to that. George was over the moon when I announced the pregnancy. I've never seen him so happy. He loves me.
Do you really believe that? It's time to wake up and smell the coffee, Sandra. He's been coming home late ever since you announced you were pregnant, hasn't he?
That's because he's busy with work.
Not to lie. His company has a no overtime policy.
What? Then where has he been? He said he had overtime today too.
It's time you learned the truth about my brother. About who he really is. And about what he and my family are planning together. You should prepare yourself, Sandra. This is going to come as a shock. Are you ready to know the truth?
I'm ready.
Very well. I have plenty of proof, so I'm going to start from the beginning. I doubt he'll be going home to you today, so time won't be an issue. All right, let's start with this photo. Sandra, where are you? I couldn't find you at home and your mom says she hasn't heard from you. Why would you leave the house without saying anything like this? Come home, please. I'm so worried you wouldn't believe.
Are you really worried about me?
Sandra. Oh, thank God you replied. So where are you? Go on, babe, tell me. I'll come straight out to get you in the car.
I'm not telling you anything. Don't even bother asking me why. You should know better than anyone else what's going on here.
What? Seriously? It's because I don't have a clue that you got me so worried. Before long, it'll be time for you to bring our little boy into the world. What the heck have gotten into you?
Do you know when I left the house?
Wasn't it today?
No. I left a week ago.
But you were messaging me normally until yesterday.
That was only to keep you from noticing. You pretend you're so worried about me, but you only come home to see me once a week.
That's not my fault. What am I supposed to do? I told you how crazy and hectic things have been for me at the office lately.
I know you're lying. You've been at the person you actually care about's house, haven't you? The only reason you married me is so I'd give you a son to inherit the family business. You were planning on divorcing me and taking custody the moment he was born.
Wait, what? I have no idea what you're talking about, babe. That's crazy talk. Come on, surely you know I wouldn't do that to you. What happened to make you act like this, Sandra?
If it's a divorce you want, great, because I do too. I have mountains of evidence of you going in and out of your lover's house when you were supposed to be doing overtime. Not to mention all the recordings of you and your parents discussing your wicked scheme to steal custody of my son. I'll never let you have him.
Wait, have you been talking to my brother? Come to think of it, he moved out of my parents' place a few days ago. God damn it, that asshole. He's been filling your head with lies, hasn't he?
All your brother did was tell me the truth, and I'm thankful to him. He's the only member of your family who isn't a despicable piece of shit.
Holy heck, Sandra, don't call me that. I'm your husband. No. You can't believe a word he says. He's a despicable one, not me. Trust me, believing him will be the worst mistake of your life.
So tell me, George, how am I supposed to believe anything you say? I know for a fact you've been cheating on me. I also know your girlfriend's incapable of having children. I also know that your parents refused to approve the marriage because she wouldn't be able to provide you with a son. They told you that they'd only agree to the marriage if you found someone else to give birth to a successor for the family business. That's why you married me, isn't it?
No.
Why do you insist on lying? I told you, George, I have evidence. I'll never believe another word that comes out of your mouth.
Sandra, please. Please come home.
That won't be happening.
Do you want money? If it's money you want, I can pay. Name your price, just give me the boy.
Don't screw me around, asshole. I am not selling my baby. I'll be raising him on my own. I'll never let any of you within 100 miles of him.
Sandra, please, you have to believe me. I never wanted to do any of this. My mom and dad, they wouldn't let me marry my girlfriend if I didn't give them a grandson.
Why couldn't you have just adopted like any normal human being would have in this situation instead of hatching a twisted, child-snatching plot built on a web of lies?
They said he had to be blood-related. I told you, my parents are old-fashioned.
You really are a grade A idiot. You and your family must be the biggest morons ever to exist on the face of the earth. Do you think being worried about not having children of your own gives you the right to do what you did?
What choice did I have? I can't let my dad's company change hands. It stays within the family at all costs.
Even still, that doesn't give you the right to use me like some tool to be manipulated into giving you a son. Is that all my life is to you? Is that all our son's life is to you? You're sick. If you really must do what you tried doing to me, at least be honest about it from the get-go and find someone willing to go along with it for money.
Sandra, please, I'm begging you. If you don't give me the boy, my parents are going to force me to marry the daughter of one of my clients. She's so ugly. Babe, we're talking about a level of ugliness that's so extreme, so off the charts, that she'd have a better chance finding a needle in a haystack than finding a guy to walk her down the aisle with her. And don't even get me started on her personality. That's a whole other can of worms. My parents said I wouldn't be allowed to divorce her, They're threatening to make my girlfriend break up with me too.
I don't care. None of this is my problem. Besides, what's the issue here? That sounds like the perfect fate for the kind of scumbag who'd trick someone into marrying him to act as his personal baby-making machine.
Sandra, please. I'm begging you here. My life will be over if I don't give my parents the boy. Listen, babe, how does it sound? I bet you want your mom to live an easy life, right? She worked so hard raising you all on her own. It's only fair she gets rewarded. One word from me and my dad will give her so much money that she'd never have to work another day in her life. She could live in absolute luxury, ease, and comfort until the end of her days.
Ugh, you invoke such a profound feeling of disgust in me that it's almost so hard to put it into words. We're talking about a feeling that goes beyond mere dislike or irritation. It's more like a visceral reaction, a gut-wrenching sensation that makes me want to physically recoil and distance myself from you as much as possible. I mean, please, did you seriously think I was suddenly going to give up my son as soon as you started dangling bags of cash in front of my eyes?
But money is important.
Sure it is. But I'll get plenty of money from the compensation you're going to owe me for the affair. Besides, I still have my savings left from back when I was single. I'm perfectly capable of raising my son on my own. What's more, I'm perfectly capable of repaying the debt of gratitude I owe my mom without a single cent of your parents' money. How about you stop treating me and my mom like a pair of helpless, needy peasants just because I grew up without a dad?
I'm begging you, Sandra. I mean it. My life is over if you don't help me out here. Please. I'll raise our son with love and care. He'll never want or need for anything.
How could you possibly be capable of looking after our son properly when you're nothing but a spineless yes man who kowtows to your parents' demands, no matter how absurd they are? I'm not going to let you sacrifice our son on the altar of your bizarre obsession with appeasing your deranged parents' every whim. I get that they're foisting all sorts of ridiculous demands on you. But that has absolutely nothing to do with me or my son. He will not be the successor to your dad's company, no matter what. I'm going to give my child a bright future where he can make his own decisions. With that, I swiftly divorced my husband and received a hefty sum in compensation. Apparently, just like he feared, George's parents forced him to marry his client's daughter because he failed in his task of procuring a successor for the family business. His dad, as promised, also drove over to his son's girlfriend, the true apple of his eye's house, and told her everything. Needless to say, she was disgusted beyond words and broke up with him before the day was up. To my surprise, a few months later, I saw a piece on the news about how George's dad's business had been ordered to pay a massive fine after being found guilty of tax fraud. Unable to find a lender to bail them out, they went bankrupt. With my ex-in-laws from hell no longer able to afford to have George around, he moved in with his new wife's family, and I hear that nowadays he helps them run their family business. I dodged a bullet when I divorced him after our short spell of marriage, but it looks like he has no way out this time. George's parents, now being broke, are now almost completely financially dependent on the financial contributions of his new wife's parents. Which means their entire livelihood now hinges on brown-nosing them to keep that gravy train chugging along. And for better or worse, they'll most likely remain married forever. I heard that George's new wife isn't particularly interested in him, but is desperate to have kids and enjoys having him around to help with the family business. Which means that now he has essentially been reduced to an errand boy and baby-making machine. What a sweet irony. Life has a funny way of working itself out, doesn't it? That said, I don't feel even an ounce of sympathy for him, and I'll never forgive him for as long as I live for what he did to me. I love he lives a life of eternal regret for lying to and deceiving me in an attempt to steal my son. Losing the love of his life and being forced to endure a life of marriage to someone he finds repulsive is only the beginning of what he actually deserves. While my ex-husband and his parents' lives descend into chaos, I gave birth to a beautiful, healthy baby boy. Between my savings and the whopping payout I got awarded in court for George's affair, I'm financially comfortable right now, so I intend on holding off on finding a job for a little while so I can focus on spending time with my son. George's brother Adam also very kindly sent me a generous celebration gift to congratulate me on the birth. I was so astonished when I saw how much he'd given me that I tried to decline and offered to send it back to him. But he insisted I keep it and wouldn't take a no for an answer. So I decided to put it into a savings account for my son when he gets older. To be honest, I thought Adam was a little blunt when we first met, but in the end, he turned out to be the only decent, kind human being in his whole family. He told me that the celebratory payout he sent me was no issue because he was the CEO of a company. My jaw almost hit the floor. I have my suspicions his momentary return to his folks' place had nothing to do with him falling on hard times, but was in fact part of a plot to expose their wrongdoing and bring them down once and for all. That's all just speculation on my part, though. The bottom line is I owe him a great deal, and I'll always be grateful for what he did for me. My only focus now is being the best mother I can be for my son. I'll never let anyone take him, no matter what. And I'm going to build a home full of warmth and love so he can flourish into the amazing person I know he is destined to be.
Carly, I heard you were fast asleep on the sofa. What's going on? Did you make the preparations for dinner yet? You better have the ingredients ready like I asked.
I'm sorry, Nellie. I've had the worst morning sickness lately. Today was my worst day yet. I made all the preparations for dinner, so you don't have to worry about that. I'll have it ready right away when it's time.
Goodness me, Carly, do you think you're the first woman in history to get morning sickness? It's hardly a big deal. Did you really need to pass out on the sofa? Vince told me you were dead to the world.
I feel really sluggish, too. I thought I was drinking enough water, but I think I might have some dehydration symptoms. Even when I'm lying down on the sofa doing nothing, I still feel like I could throw up at any moment. I feel like I'm in a state of constant discomfort and frustration. This sucks. Not that there's anything to throw up. I can't keep any food down and my appetite has completely vanished. To be honest with you, I have never felt worse. I'm struggling to move today.
Strange. I never had any symptoms like that when I was pregnant with my Vince.
Morning sickness is different from person to person. Some women don't get any, some feel like they're on death's door. Unfortunately, I know which end of the spectrum I'm on.
What's the problem? Is there really any need to be this dramatic? It's only a little nausea, just endure it. In any case, I really don't think there was any need to go to sleep on the sofa. I hope you don't mind me saying this, dearie, but I don't think you expect enough of yourself sometimes, or how to put this? You're lazy. Yes, that's the word I was looking for.
What?
What is it, darling? Did you think I was going to be all soppy and sympathetic when you told me you were feeling under the weather? Then you've got another thing coming. I'm not the soft touch my son is, so it's about time you booked your ideas up and got serious. How are you going to look after your baby if you can't even look after this house? It's time to stop neglecting your duties and start acting like a real woman.
I really don't think I'm neglecting anything.
It looks like you're guilty of your fair share of neglect from where I'm standing, dearie. You know, it's because of women like you that us stay-at-home housewives get a bad name. People see you lazing around doing nothing, and they think we're all like that. Those of us who are good, upright, hard-working get our reputations dragged through the mud because of layabouts like you. Stop being so selfish.
But I genuinely feel like crap, Nellie. I've barely felt human all day. No, scratch that, all week. It's so bad, I feel like I'm a second away from crying at any moment. Would you please just give me a break? I don't have the energy for this right now.
Boo-hoo, so you feel a little under the weather, so what? It's just morning sickness, it's basically nothing. Toughen up and power on through it like a real woman. You know, back in my day, we got on with it and we didn't complain. Take me, for example. I went to work with a fever of 38 degrees on several occasions, and you know what? I still got the job done better than all the guys. You young people nowadays are such a delicate bunch of snowflakes, it's unreal. I bet your mom and dad spoiled you growing up, didn't they? Go on, admit it. It couldn't be more obvious. You've always had everything handed to you on a silver platter. I'm sorry. I'm probably a damn sight more tired than you with the day I've had, but do you hear me complaining? Nope, because unlike you, I'm tough. Make sure you're up and ready to do your job when I get home. Ah, that reminds me. I want you to run me a nice warm bath. See to it that it's ready by the time I get back. Don't forget my rubber ducky. A bath? Okay, got it. Are you on the train home now? Yes. I was fast asleep as soon as I got on and sat down. When I woke up after an hour, I felt as fresh as a daisy. It looks like the tiredness finally caught up with me. I worked damn hard today, if I do say so myself. Well done to you, miss. I'm surprised you actually went out that far. My jaw almost hit the floor when Vince told me how far away his grandma lived. How was everyone doing? They were doing great. You'll never guess what my husband's oldest brother is doing these days. He's running marathons as a hobby. Everyone in his family lives such vibrant, healthy lives. They all look half their actual ages. How about Gerald, your father-in-law? Was he young for his age? Vince told me that he was super active. He sounded like a real inspiration. That's right, he was. He was as vigorous and energetic as they come before he tragically passed away in the accident. It's such a shame he's not around anymore. I wish I could have met him at least once. My mother-in-law was her usual old self, too. She still makes an effort to dress up nicely. She's always had a thing for those traditional velvet dresses. I hope she doesn't get too hot in them. I don't know how she does it in this weather. It sounds like she always had a thing for fabrics. And didn't you tell me she worked as a sewing teacher when she was younger? That's right. One thing's for sure. I wouldn't want her teaching me. She's the strictest woman I've ever met. She had a face full of makeup on today, dolled up to the nines. I could have mistaken her for someone about 20 years younger, I tell you. I think Mildred looks incredible in those velvet dresses of hers. I've always admired her tasteful elegance and feminine charm. She has a certain aura about her that makes her really unique. What? Mildred? Why would you call her that? Why not just call her Granny Fletcher like everyone else? She's Vince's grandma, and that's what he calls her. Why can't you call her Granny Fletcher too? Somehow or other, calling her Granny kind of feels unnatural. She looks really young for her age. Besides, I'd be worried she'd get mad with me if I called her that. Fair enough. I suppose I get where you're coming from. She's as intense as they come. I used to be terrified of her. She was constantly telling me off when I was younger. I'm surprised to hear that. But unlike you, I was a good, dutiful, loyal wife, and I never slacked on my household duties. I didn't do anything to deserve the way she treated me. It was my mother-in-law who was in the wrong, not me. I always thought the way she used to flip out and pick fault with me over the most minor things was so petty. I see. She was only 18 when my husband and I got married. I was basically still a kid, so it was no surprise I was terrified of my mother-in-law. I felt so daunted every time we went over to see her. She always had a certain force of vigor about her. She's not the kind of woman you'd want to get on the wrong side of. Not that it's any different now. I still wouldn't want to rub her the wrong way. Sounds like you went through a tough time of it. Even to this day, she still finds things to complain about. There's always something. You know, people say you mellow out as you get older, but I feel like she's going the opposite way. To be honest, I'm sick to death of her. She was up to her usual old crap today. Did she say something? You bet she did. Witter, 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 whine, whine, whine. God, I could have told her to shut her face right then and there. There were talks of me and my husband moving in with her at one point. Boy, am I glad that never ended up happening. I guess I would have ended up murdering the old bag. I'm so relieved I only have to see her a few times a year for special occasions now. Sounds like you went through the mill today. Hopefully you can finally relax, unwind, and enjoy some you time when you get home. That's where you come in, dearie. See to it that my bath is ready pronto. Do not forget my rubber ducky. Yep, got it. Nellie, I can't believe you poured water over me like that. Why would you do something so horrible? Because I got home to find none of the housework done, and you fast asleep on the living room sofa, you darn heckin' slacker. How could I not lose my temper seeing you laid out there like a sloth? But I thought you said you wouldn't be home until the evening today. My plans changed. I had no idea you were going to show up. I'm sorry. Oh, I get it. So you think you get to neglect your duties just because I'm not around? I am sick and tired of your behavior, young lady. It's disgraceful that you'd rather spend your time sleeping than dropping me off and picking me up from my social events. Do you really think it's fair to make me use public transport at my age? Is this all one big joke to you? Is that it? Are you mocking me? No, it's not like that at all. I just couldn't get any sleep last night because I felt so sick. I was planning on getting around to the housework as soon as I'd had some rest, I swear. There we go with the morning sickness excuse again. Anyone would think you were laid up in a hospital bed with 2 weeks to live. Stop making excuses and accept reality for your disgraceful behavior, woman. But I genuinely feel awful. Maybe so, but you're still capable of moving. Ultimately, this comes down to a problem of attitude and a lack of commitment. The next time I catch you slacking on the housework, you'll be getting more than just a bucket of cold water poured over you. Oh my God. Please, won't you at least try to understand my circumstances? You're in no position to make requests of me, you lazy little cretin. I'm sorry, but I just don't see how you think pouring a bucket of cold water over me is justified or what it achieves. The sofa and carpet are soaking wet though now. Well, you better see to it that they get properly dried off then. On my own? Of course on your own, you insolent procrastinator. None of this would have happened if you weren't slacking on the housework in the first place. I'm going shopping. You better have this house sparkling clean by the time I get back. I mean it. Obviously, I don't just mean the living room either. I want the whole house from top to bottom, so clean I could eat my dinner off of it. The whole house? Use your brain, dearie. The floor's wet. This is your golden opportunity to scrub every square inch of carpet in the house. Why not try not being a useless sack of shit for once in your worthless life, you sluggish, slouching slacker? What the fudge do you think you're doing? You pregnant piece of crap! Where are you hiding to get out of doing housework this time? I won't tolerate this. The floor is still wet. Hurry up and finish cleaning it, or do you want me to pour another bucket of water all over you? Pouring a bucket of water over a pregnant woman? You wicked, ghastly woman. You just lost your son and daughter-in-law. Carly didn't deserve any of this. What have you been doing to her, that poor, poor girl? To think her and Vince agreed to move in with you to help out. Now you're not as mobile as you used to be, and this is how you repay them? Excuse me, who am I talking to? What are you talking about? I'm not Carly. Huh? Well, who the hell are you then? Oh, I think you know me, darling. You see, you were at my house not too long ago. It's me, Mildred. Mildred? Thank you for visiting last month. We always appreciate you making the effort to travel such a long way. How are you messaging me from Carly's phone? Is my phone broken? Should I ring my data provider? This is definitely her number. I was just talking to her earlier today. I'm with Carly at the moment. You're despicable. Is it true you poured a bucket of water over her while she was trying to sleep off her morning sickness? I just couldn't stay quiet on the sidelines and watch when I heard how horribly you've been treating her. No way, like I'd ever do that. It was just a prank, just a harmless little prank, that's all. A prank? You call that a prank? Is that the kind of prank you pull on a heavily pregnant, sleep-deprived woman suffering from severe morning sickness? But she was slacking on the housework. She was fast asleep on the sofa when the house was a mess. On what planet is that acceptable behavior? I am well within my rights to be mad with her for lazing around when there's so much to do. I completely understand how Carly feels. I suffered with awful morning sickness myself when I was pregnant with my first. My mother-in-law was the kindest, most lovely woman you could ever hope to meet. So she was more than happy to let me rest, but it still wasn't pleasant. Unfortunately for Carly, her mother-in-law is an ignorant, uneducated moron and a control freak of the highest order. You never told me you suffered with morning sickness. This is the first I've heard of it. I hardly see any need to go announcing it to the world. You know, Nellie, morning sickness can be truly horrible. Constantly feeling like you could throw up at any moment is not a pleasant experience. Mildred, can I ask you something? Why are you with Carly? We spoke at dinner time today. I gave her a call because I wanted to hear her voice and find out how she was doing. I could tell as soon as she said hello that she wasn't her usual self. The desperation in her voice may as well have been a cry for help. When I asked her what was wrong, she burst into tears. There was obviously no way I was ever going to put the phone down without finding out what had her so stressed out, so I kept asking until, eventually, she told me you were bullying her. Bullying? Oh, that's crazy talk. I'd never bully a fly. Don't play dumb with me. What you've been doing to her is bullying, plain and simple. She told me everything. I was so livid that before I knew it, I was on the first train to her house. Carly came to meet me at the station. You didn't have to do that. Anyway, since when were you two even in contact? How did you get her number? You're right, she was the only member of the family who I wasn't in direct contact with. It still hasn't been that long since her and my grandson got married, after all. I got her number from Vince. My son? He had no idea about your vicious bullying campaign against his wife. She told me she kept him in the dark about it because she didn't want him to worry about her. She's such a sweet, selfless girl. The more I get to know her, the more I want to protect her from you. Mildred, please. Will you pass her the phone, please? I suppose. You better not say anything mean to her, though. I mean it. I want you on your best behavior. I won't, I promise.
It's Carly.
Carly! What are you doing? You didn't have to go blabbing to my mother-in-law about our private business. Do you know how much trouble you've caused her?
I do feel kind of guilty. I had no idea she'd come to the house. Granny Fletcher's one of the kindest people I've ever met.
Wait, what? Why are you calling her Granny Fletcher all of a sudden? Oh, I get it. You're cozying up to her so you can paint me as the villain, aren't you? Damn you, girl, I can read you like a book.
Nope. She said that's what she wanted me to call her. I'm not trying to cozy up to her at all.
I can't take this nonsense anymore. Just make damn sure you don't cause her any more trouble than you already have. Do not forget your position in this family, young lady. You're just some cheap floozy who was lucky enough to marry my son. Don't be getting ideas above your station.
That's funny. Granny Fletcher said she thinks of me as her own granddaughter.
No, you're nothing and nobody. You're only one step away from a stranger.
That's where you're wrong. The only stranger here is you.
What's that supposed to mean?
Your mother-in-law just told you, or did you forget already? You don't have a son or daughter-in-law anymore.
I saw her message, but I don't know what she meant. Stop being ambiguous and come out with it already.
It means we're cutting you out of our lives once and for all. You're nothing but a stranger now.
What in the devil's name am I reading? Who do you think you are? You don't get to decide that. What about what me and my son want?
That's funny, I have no recollection of ignoring my husband. We discussed and decided on this together, as a couple. You mean my Vinciekins wanted to cut his own mother out of his life? Lies, he'd never do that. Exactly. To be honest, I'm not sure if I could have convinced him on my own. It's thanks to Granny Fletcher's persuasion that he finally came around to the idea. Now, after stopping and thinking about how much negativity you actually bring to our lives, he's fully on board. It's such a refreshing feeling to know that we're never going to have to deal with you and your bullshit again, Nellie. Excuse me, Mildred, are you still with Carly right now? Yes, she's resting. Are you with Vince, too? Yes, why? He arrived home after finishing work not long ago. You wouldn't have happened to have said anything to him, would you? Did you tell him he should cut me out of his life? I never told him he should do anything. What? So why is this happening? All I did was tell him to take good care of his wife. I told him that your wife should be the most important person in the whole world to you, and that the vows you take on your wedding day are to be honored for life. I told him that if anyone should ever try to hurt her, you should protect them with every last fiber of your being. Vince just called me. He said he doesn't think of me as his mother anymore. Oh, he did he? Well, that's great news. I'm so proud of what a mature, well-rounded young man he's become. No! Which part of this decision is mature or well-rounded? Ugh! Do you understand the gravity of the situation? He's abandoning me, his own mother. He's tossing me in the garbage like I'm a piece of dirt on the bottom of his shoe. You mean he's opposing his own mother to defend his wife's honor? That's one of the most touching things I've ever heard. I think I'm finally seeing Vince in a different light. That's my grandson, attaboy. I know you put them both up to this, I just know. Stop this, stop it now, please. Good grief, Nellie, I didn't put anyone up to anything. Carly and Vince are fully grown adults and they can make their own decisions. All this old dear did was give her young grandson and his wife a teeny-weeny little bit of advice, that's all. You're the ones who decided to get rid of you, not me. You have to admire their bravery in making such a drastic decision. This is just cruel. How could you do this to me? You accuse me of bullying, but that's what you're doing to me right now. How is it that I'm somehow the one being painted as the bad guy here? Bullying? Ridiculous. Have I done anything directly to you? Just because you didn't do it directly doesn't mean I'm not a victim. You guys are all ganging up on me and it's not fair. Face facts. No one did anything to you, so drop the victim complex, you pitiful excuse of a human being. The reason neither of them want anything to do with you anymore is because of your horrendous attitude towards your son's wife. Not to mention the fact you put your hands on her. What more reason do they need? You've got some nerve to be playing the victim. This is the most egregious case of daughter-in-law bullying there ever was. Unlike you, Mildred, I only have one child. My husband's gone, and without my Vince, I'm going to be completely alone in the world. How can you do this to me? If my son was still around, he'd have divorced you a long, long time ago, I'm sure of it. He'd probably feel like he was being punished for something if he had to spend his retirement with someone as wicked and black-hearted as you. Even the thought of you being buried in the same plot as him someday makes me feel sick to my core. Maybe I should pay to have him exhumed and reburied somewhere you can never find him. But what about me? What am I supposed to do when I die? Oh, don't worry, I'd only be moving my son. You can have the grave all to yourself. What's wrong with being buried on your own, Nellie? You seem so hell-bent on alienating everyone in your life. I didn't think you'd have any issue with being a pariah in death, too. Stop it! You have no right to go making decisions like that without my permission. Hi, it's Carly. Granny Fletcher says she's tired of you, so she gave me the phone back. We're going to be staying with her tonight. We won't be coming back to the house ever again. What? What do you mean you're staying with Mildred? Where? She booked us all into the Peepston Hotel. I'm chilling on the super deluxe double bed as we speak. These rooms are incredible. I can't get any rest with you around. A pregnant woman staying at the Peepston? You have no right to luxuries like that. Get your ass back to my house right now. That's none of your business. We're strangers now. Where we spend the night has absolutely nothing to do with you. What? So you've already cut me out of your lives? No, I won't go along with it. I won't. Whether you go along with it or not makes no difference. We'll do as we please, thank you very much. Is this all because I poured a bucket of water over you while you were asleep? Geez, lighten up, woman. Pfft, please, as if. That's not why we want you out of our lives. Then what was it? Because I didn't take your morning sickness seriously? You can't actually be kicking me out of your lives over that. Not only that, but you went and turned my own mother-in-law against me. We just don't see eye to eye on a few things, that's all. Why make a mountain out of a molehill and create a big family drama? I can't take being with you a second longer, Nellie. You'll send me into an early grave from the never-ending stress and worry that inevitably comes along with having anything to do with you. I'm so tired. Even just messaging you like this is draining. That's why I want you out of my life with immediate effect. You can try and avoid me as much as you like. But we're family. You know we'll end up running into each other again sooner or later. Just because you three are sulking doesn't mean our relatives are suddenly going to stop holding family get-togethers. You don't need to worry about that. Granny Fletcher told me to tell you that you needn't bother showing up at family events from now on. You officially just got kicked out of your own family. You're a complete stranger to all of us now. How about you start making up for your bullying and try being nice to people for once in your life? You might never see any of us again, but there's nothing stopping you from turning over a new leaf. Shortly after severing all connections with my dreadful mother-in-law, who seemed to epitomize the concept of hell on earth, I joyously welcomed the arrival of a beautiful and robust baby boy into this world, bringing an abundance of happiness and contentment to my life. 6 months later, when little Jeremy was finally old enough to cope with traveling long distances, me and Vince started taking the arduous drive out to see Mildred every once in a while. She absolutely adores him, her affection knows no bounds, and she dotes on him more than anyone. As for my ex-mother-in-law, we haven't been anywhere near her since moving out of her house. We don't even see her at family get-togethers anymore because she's the only one who doesn't get invited. She's completely estranged from anyone after Mildred told the entire family what she did, advised them to stop associating with her, and forbade them from inviting her to family events under any circumstances. I heard through the grapevine that she can be found wandering around the neighborhood all on her own at night with a despair-stricken look on her face. Apparently, she aged about 10 years since we broke things off with her, and it was only a year ago. Somehow, even her neighbors found out about her bullying me, earning her the nickname of the Demon Hag locally. Word of her malevolent deeds spread like wildfire, captivating the attention of everyone in the town, leading to countless conversations and discussions revolving around her vile conduct. She's totally alone now. As the days turn into weeks and the weeks into months, her isolation intensifies, deepening the profound sense of loneliness that engulfs her very being, leaving her to navigate the vast expanse of solitude without a glimmer of hope for any meaningful human connection. I just hope I never run into her again.
Hey Stan, did I hear that you plan to move back to Mom's house and live together with her?
Yeah, that's right.
You need to make sure to talk to me about that first before making a decision. When I heard all of this from Mom, I was surprised, because her and I had already talked about a few things for her, which one of them is her leaving that house.
What's wrong with me wanting to live there with her? None of this is going to be causing you any troubles. And in your case, Ashley, my wife and I living with her would make you feel a lot better about mom in her old age, right? You've always been the one to worry about everything, so I know you're worried about her in her old age.
Well, you have a good point, but by having you go and live with her, are you sure you won't be causing her any troubles? It's been a long time now since we've heard from you, and the last time you were around us, it wasn't the best time.
How old do you think I am now, Ashley? I'm much different from the man I was back then. And I have myself a wife now. So I think I can manage taking care of mom for us.
Well, if Peyton is going to be living there too, then I guess things should be alright.
I can see that you still don't trust your older brother with anything, do you?
Well, come on. You just got up and left our family one day and never told us where you ran off. For the longest time. And when I thought you were coming back to us, you were only coming to say that you had got married. You've been out living the life of your own and messing around, so it really is difficult for me to trust you.
And I was much different back then, and I'm sorry about it. I was younger and only thought about myself and was thinking life would be better not being around any of you guys anymore. But now I'm a full-grown adult and have calmed down and learned that maybe I do still need my family.
Well, if that's the case, then that's great. But I had been talking with Mom about having her put into a retirement home, and she was on board with it. I think instead of us having to be around to care for her, she would rather be living on her own with a bunch of other people her age and the support of trained nurses. So that's why we've been saving up for her.
I think that can all wait a little bit longer. I made sure to tell Mom that I'm not going to cause her any sort of issues while living with her. And so that's why I'm doing my best to come back with Peyton and live together in Mom's house.
Huh? So you really have started to think about others than just yourself? I'm shocked.
I told you that I'm different now. I told her that I wanted to make up for all the troubles of the past by being with her now. So I think taking care of her for a while will be a good thing.
I think so, but I think that it might be a bit too tough for you having to care for someone else.
That's a bit harsh.
But having you with her will make me feel better. I'm not able to move any close to Mom right now due to my husband's job and all, and having to drive 3 hours to see Mom is just too much to do multiple times a week. Thank you, Stan.
Hearing you say thank you to me, well, it's putting me off my food.
You yourself are being a bit harsh now. Well, please take good care of Mom, okay? But if there's something you think I can help with, let me know. I'm sure you're all getting ready to head back to Mom's place now, but this might be a lot for Peyton to handle having to move in with her mother-in-law.
Why do you think it'll be difficult for her?
Well, having to move in with one's parents isn't something a lot of people want to do when they're married. I'm not saying that it'll be awful living with Mom or anything, but I feel that Peyton is the kind of woman that can work hard to care for others and tire herself out doing so. So I'm just saying that when you guys start to live at Mom's, she might see that she doesn't like it that much and ask to move back out of there.
Well, if that happens, it'll be alright. Peyton is really excited to live in that huge house that Mom has.
Well, if she's excited to live in the house, that's one thing, but you guys have to make sure to watch over Mom a little bit as well. Mom is the kind of person that'll want to care for you guys a lot, but she needs to be cared for herself.
I know that. You're still just as annoying as you've always been about these things, Ashley. I'm kind of happy that you won't be at Mom's house when we come to live there. I think compared to Mom, Peyton will become much more distressed around you and your constant talking.
Oh, is that so? But if anything does happen, please let me know right away. My husband and I have talked about helping care for her more as well, so you don't have to feel as though you both have to do everything for her.
Sure, alright.
Please, and thank you, Stan. Stan, how are things going with you living with and caring for Mom now?
You have been talking with Mom a bunch still, so you already know.
Well, I heard from her that things are going fine there, but I just thought I'd ask you and get your perspective on it too.
You're such a pain in the butt.
Don't say things like that, okay? I'm just asking you this because I still worry a little.
If Mom is telling you that things are going great here, then you should be happy with just that answer. How much longer are you going to doubt everything that happens around me?
This isn't me doubting you or anything. I've just felt that recently things between Mom and I have become a little more distant feeling.
Is that right?
Before, her and I would always call and talk to one another for hours, but now she seems to be so busy with things that she never has time to call.
That's because she's going on a lot of trips and things like that to keep her busy.
Is that what it is? I was thinking that last week, when there was that 3-day weekend, I'd come out and see you all. But she told me she was going out for that weekend and told me to stay home.
Ever since we have started living with her, it's been easier for her to get out of the house for a bit and go places. And I think it's perfect that she's getting to enjoy herself.
Well, as long as her health is in good shape, that's okay. But last year, she did have a bit of a fall carrying some heavy bags. So even if she's having a lot of fun, she needs to take time off to recover every so often.
Why don't you go and tell her that yourself?
Well, even if I tell her, I won't be around to see if she really is listening to me or not.
That's a good point. Now that I think about it, Ashley, do you know the Malloy's grandkid?
You're talking about the Malloys that live in the same neighborhood as and are good friends of Mom? If you're talking about their grandson, Geoff, then I know him. I think right now he's doing college, right?
Well, recently he's been coming to the house a lot. Always asking for Mom to teach him more about gardening and all of that.
Is that so?
But having to see him all the time is getting to become a bother. And I don't really want him coming over anymore. And Peyton feels the same way as I do.
Oh, but I always thought that Geoff was a pretty nice boy.
He wouldn't be aiming to get closer to Mom, would he? There are people like that who try and get close to the elderly so that they can steal from them, right? He might be onto her because she was living alone before and wants whatever she has.
He's not that kind of kid. He's not like you are, Stan.
What?
Geoff is a very sweet and loving boy.
Are there really people these days that are going to college and still have an interest in gardening?
Well, some people are into it as a hobby.
Well, I feel a little bit suspicious of him. He'll even come into the house from time to time and drink coffee or tea with Mom.
What's wrong with that? It's probably a good thing for Mom to talk to someone way younger than her. Good for her mental health, I think.
But I'm worried about her. Peyton's not even happy that he'll be coming into the house all the time and perhaps stealing some of our things. This is not normal for someone Mom's age to allow.
Really? Well, Geoff is not the kind of boy to go around stealing from other people, especially not the elderly.
I'm just wondering if he's already started to steal from others already and has a collection of all their precious items. Tell Mom to stop letting him come over, okay?
Well, I'll listen to what Mom has to say about it first.
Mom seems to trust you the most, and hearing you telling her to stop will get her to turn him away. Letting things be with that Jeff guy is dangerous. Ashley, calm down and just listen to me.
Huh? What?
Well, for the past 3 days, I haven't been able to find Mom anywhere. I hadn't heard anything from you either, and so I was wondering if she had gone to see you?
Why did you not tell me something like that as soon as you noticed?
Well, at first I just thought she had gone out to be with friends or something. Hey, do you think we should call the police and let them know that she's gone missing?
I'm done with you. Mom is over here with me.
What? Then why did you never tell me about that when she arrived 3 days ago?
Well, that's because you should have been the one to contact me first about it, and I know now that she's gone and run away from both of you to get to me. I bet you were hoping she didn't come to me because you were afraid of what she might tell me.
Huh? What are you talking about? I have no idea what you or her could be talking about right now.
Stop screwing around. Ever since you and Peyton moved in with her, you've been using Mom like a slave. And you've even started to dig into her savings and using it on whatever you both like.
Well, about that. We're living with her now, so it's fair that she pays us to be there. And we have her doing some chores to keep her in motion so that she doesn't become sick. So, can you stop calling her a slave and acting like my wife and I are thieves?
I made the two of us dinner the moment she came over, and when she sat down to eat, she told me it's been so long now since the last time she'd eaten warm food with tears rolling down her cheek. Are you telling me that you both only had her eating cold leftovers and junk food? I think that you both made her cook your meals and wouldn't let her eat until you both had finished what she had made for you.
Huh? I would never do something like that to her.
Well, you're no longer going to be hurting Mom anymore. She's going to be living in my house now.
Are you telling me that you think taking Mom into your house is a good idea? I think giving her back to us is the best choice here.
I'm not giving her back to you two.
Thank God. She was totally getting in our way, so you're helping us out a ton. And Peyton was even saying that having her around made life so unbearable for her. And as for Mom's things, hurry up and grab all of them for me.
I promise that I'll be coming to get all her things as soon as possible, but you both have really messed up now.
Huh?
You had used up all of Mom's savings, and that's why you kicked her out of her own house? That was the whole reason you wanted to live with her in the first place?
What are you trying to say, brat? I told you just a moment ago that there was a fee to having me and Peyton living with her that I needed to collect. And when you say I kicked her out, it was actually her that left on her own.
And that's because both of you and Peyton were doing terrible things to her.
And I told you that we weren't doing anything wrong to her.
Well, if you had done nothing wrong to her, then she shouldn't have a reason to be crying all the time, right? She would have had no reason to just one day leave you guys without saying anything, right?
I think that Mom is just lying to you. Her and Peyton seem to never mix well, huh? Yet I still gave her what she needed and moved into her place with her. So stop trying to doubt all that I had done for her.
You're not going to tell me the truth, are you? I cannot believe that you would do something this low. Moving yourselves into her house without asking first, and then stealing all her money day after day? You would never let her eat anything freshly cooked, and you made her do all your chores? You and that Peyton are not human.
You stop talking down to her and I right now. You have no evidence, yet you keep going at me saying that I'm the bad one here. I bet this is all just because Mom is starting to have dementia. She's had symptoms of it for a while now, so I think it's getting closer to that time. I think tossing her into a mental ward would be the best thing for all of us. Hey, Ashley. Why are we being asked to move out of Mom's house?
You don't have to ask me the reasoning for that. It means exactly what's being asked.
Why do I have to leave the house that I was given to by Mom?
You were given that house by Mom. Did you go ahead and change the name on that house?
I didn't do that yet. I am the older sibling, though, and I moved into this house to care for Mom.
Well, Stan, that house is being sold, so you can no longer live in that house anymore. We have already talked to the realtor about all of this, and they're going ahead with selling the place.
Huh? Why are you doing all of that without my permission? I'm not leaving this house.
Well, that's fine too, but that house is going to be reformed quite a bit, and so there will be tons of contractors going in and out of it, tearing things down and putting things up for a while. And if you still haven't left after that, when the next person moves into the house, you can both be considered trespassers and be taken into custody.
Shut the hell up. Then where are Peyton and I supposed to go now?
I don't care. Go find a nice bridge or something to live under downtown.
Or how about you give me the money that you get from selling this house?
Oh?
That's what I deserve. And it can be considered what I get from Mom out of her will. I'll just be getting it in advance.
You're not getting anything from her, though.
And why not? I'm her freaking son. And even if she says that I can't get anything from her, then I'll find a way to sneak myself into that will. It's not hard, you idiot.
The only idiots here are you and Peyton, I'm afraid. Mom already went to the courthouse and had you removed from all of her paperwork and her will. So you aren't getting a single thing from Mom now, and you never can. Her lawyer will make sure of that.
She's removed me from everything?
Well, you took major advantage of her and her money, right? You never let her eat any decent food when living with her, and I've heard that you'd get so upset with her that you throw things at her head and threaten her. Someone like that loses every right to get anything from their parents when they choose to harm them so severely.
And I'm telling you that Mom's going off the deep end and doesn't know what she's doing. We didn't do anything to her. You both don't have any evidence of it, so the court and her lawyer can't do crap to me. I'm not going to stop now.
But what if we do have evidence? And that's why all of this has worked out.
Huh?
That neighborhood couple's grandson, Geoff, when he was around one day, he recorded you and your wife having a pretty heated conversation. And he also made sure to take some videos. And when you'd yell at Mom a bunch, he'd record you.
That jerk did all of that while over here? Doing anything he'd like while in a house he wasn't invited to? That's it. I'm gonna sue his butt.
Mom was the one that allowed him inside, so there's no problem with what he did. Also, stop trying to make this problem any bigger than it already is, okay? If you get out of that house and then proceed to never talk to Mom or I, and even Geoff ever again, then I'll be willing to let this all end without the two of you facing any harsher punishment.
Shut the hell up, Ashley. Are you trying to run my life right now?
I am, actually. I don't care what happens to you now that you'll be homeless. After thinking of all the things you've done to Mom, I think the two of you vanishing off the face of this planet would be marvelous.
Mom barely had anything in her savings account, Ashley. So I barely have anything to work with now.
I don't give a crap about the money that you've stolen from her. You taking money from Mom without ever giving her a good reason is why I don't care what happens to you. That's why you're no longer getting anything from Mom now. All to make sure that you never have a chance of getting anything else from Mom that she has no plans of giving you.
I have debts that I need to pay. And so I was thinking of selling this house and using the money to pay it off.
Well, that means that this was all going to happen to you eventually. So isn't it great that we're helping you get out of that house now?
Ashley, please. This is my only chance to change my ways. Get Mom to understand me and have her give me the rights to this house so that I can sell it and save myself.
I have no reason to say that I understand you right now. So don't ask me anything like that again. I'm being very serious when I say that I don't care about what happens to you guys.
What am I going to do, though? If I can't get enough money, I'll be going into a living hell.
That seems about right, Stan. You wouldn't be had you actually done what you had told me and moved in with Mom to help watch over her and care. But what you've really done is the same as robbing and assaulting her. You hurt her both physically and mentally and stole her money.
Ashley, you have some money, right? If I can't get anything from her, I'll get some from you. If you don't want me to come to your house and start screwing your life up, you hand me $50,000 right now.
That right there is you threatening me for money, right? Oh ho ho! You've been gone for so long now that you never got to know who my husband is. Stan, my husband is a sheriff. And on top of that, Geoff's parents are both working in the police force as well. I'm talking about his parents who live just down the street from Mom's house. So I think you might be better off leaving things be and not doing any more damage. Because if you do continue to try and hurt my family, the police will be on you in no time and you'll never ever see the light of the day ever again.
Ashley, I'm sorry. What I just said wasn't meant to be taken as a threat, rather a simple request. I'll give you back anything I have left from Mom's savings, but I'm your older brother and I really need your help, so just listen to me.
Now you're going to try and beg for money?
Stop saying that about me. I really am in huge trouble if I don't pay off that debt. Ashley, please help.
You're not my brother or even my family anymore. I'm not going to trust you again. The number one most dangerous person in this family isn't my mom, who's old, but a crazy brother who doesn't care about anyone but himself. From there, my brother and his wife left that house and ran away in a hurry. And a few months later, I received a call from him saying that he never was able to pay off his debt and things have really turned out for the worst. But I just ignored him and hung up the phone. And after that, I'm not really sure what happened to him and all, the money that he still had to pay, but I haven't gotten any more calls or texts from him since then, so it couldn't be good. And Mom already blocked all of his contact information on her phone, so really, I'm the only one he can reach out to. But not getting anything else from him is a real blessing, as it lets my mom and I have some peace of mind not thinking about what's happening to him right now. Right now, still, my mom is with my husband and I living in our house together. We had been in the talks with her before about having her move into a retirement home, and she was on board with that then. But now, after all that's happened to her and us, I think I'd rather she just spend her later years here with my husband and I in our home where I can see and care for her every day. My husband has even begun thinking about adding on an addition to the house where my mom can have her own room instead of having to use the makeshift room we have for now. My mom has done her best to forget about what had happened to her while having Stan and Peyton living with her and doesn't ever bring it up at all. I knew that something like this was going to happen with him coming back home to her, but I wanted to give him his last chance. I feel bad for doing that now to my mom, but luckily she had her friends in the neighborhood there to help her, especially that Geoff kid. It was because of him and how close he is to Mom that he knew just the right thing to do for her, and that was great evidence. And so because of all the help he had given us, I'm never going to forget how thankful I am that Geoff and my mom had stayed close friends. I may be her daughter, but during her time with Stan, I never did a good enough job watching over her, and so I feel really bad for that. So because of that very regret that I have, I'll make sure from now on to cater to any of my mom's needs and make sure she's the happiest woman around. And while caring for my mom, I'll make sure to never forget all the help I received from everyone around. And so, if any of them need anything from me, I'll be right there to give them all a hand.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel.